Girl tells me that all she could do was try to pull him into the car and drive off. And they kept shooting, so I know it was God, but I don't know what stopped the bullet hole from hitting my grandbaby other than God. Because it was a bullet hole that either the door or her car seat stopped it from hitting her.
A grandmother holding on to a grandbaby by a thread. A man who signed a birth certificate he did not believe in. A father who literally ran, from a DNA test. And a fisherman whose own in-laws told him at the hospital that the baby was not his. Today, 4 cases where the truth was buried under secrets, doubt, and years of silence. Let's get into it.
It was at the moment, and I felt that, I don't know, it may be not, but I don't know.
He was there during the whole entire time, during delivery and pregnancy. He was there, but he also signed the recognition of parentage.
He signed the birth certificate with doubt already eating at him. He says the baby looked too light. She says she is light-skinned and children come in all shapes and sizes. But the complexion is not the only issue here. This relationship had a shaky foundation from the very start. When they first met at a club, she told him something that should have changed everything.
Sneaky from the start when I met her, Your Honor. I met her at a club, came, approached her, didn't think she was gonna give me the time of day or nothing.
So he pursued me.
I did.
Yep.
You're right about that. I did pursue you.
For a long time.
I pursued after. I got out there.
Yep.
And we got to talking, and then she told me, she said, I'm married. But when she said the word but, that means I'm willing to maybe see you or something up.
She was married and he was the side piece. She admits it. She says she eventually left the marriage and proved the divorce was final. But the proof was a document she pulled off the internet, not a physical copy. He did not trust it then, and he does not trust her now. She insists that for the past 3 years, it has been only the 2 of them. He disagrees.
No doubt. And I know that, like, the night we conceived, it was me and him.
Your Honor, that's
and
another story
he,
behind it.
I remember a lot. He
Conception.
doesn't even remember, like,
I remember
people's
that
names.
night.
She calls it a house blessing. Christmas, a new couch, a new apartment. She remembers every detail of that night, but his version of that same evening tells a very different story. He was there. He does not deny that. But what he says about how the night ended is going to undercut her entire claim about when this baby was conceived.
What do you want to do? I said, we're gonna have the baby because we doing some stupid stuff. I'm not gonna blame this child. We're gonna have it.
So you decided that we should have the baby.
Pretending I was happy. I just pretended.
Oh, you were
like
pretending?
I'm pretending like I was
Okay.
happy.
You were pretending like you were
okay.
happy?
I was pretending
That's
like I was
nice.
happy.
He stayed for the pregnant sex. That is what he tells the judge. He was not happy about the baby. He was not convinced it was his. But he stuck around because the physical relationship had benefits. Meanwhile, things behind the scenes were getting more suspicious. He says she cut him out of the doctor visits. And then 3 days before Christmas, she claimed to have no money and suddenly produced cash.
She just moved into our new place. She had to put down $2,800. Complaining to me that, I have no, this is like 3 days before Christmas.
But I didn't ask you for any money at that time either, did I?
Let me speak. She come up with all this money after she put this down payment on her to move in our place. And I said, where you get this money from? She told me, I got it from my 401k.
Mystery money 3 days before Christmas. She says it was a work savings account. He says it was another man. But the money is not the worst of it. He says one night she came home from work, sat down next to him, and he told her she smelled like sex. She turned it around and said the same about him. After that, he wanted a DNA test. She made the appointment herself.
Why? If he was at your house at 3 o'clock?
I just, at that time,
And that
I
made me
didn't do it. I wasn't worried about anything. It's just that I had other things that I had in
What were you
plan.
doing? You were just sitting in the house.
Other plans to do. I was
What,
on maternity
watching TV?
leave.
Hold on. You had a chance to.
Exactly.
She made the appointment. He was there an hour and a half early, and she still did not go. She says she had other things to do. The judge is looking at her and saying, that looks like dodging. And now, months later, they are in this courtroom because neither of them could get it done on their own. The judge has had enough of both of them.
Oh my.
We need that to happen. So, I just don't understand.
Well, I didn't.
Wait, let me finish. I don't understand. I know what it means to have a baby. I get it.
The judge laid it out plain. She created the doubt. She dodged the test. And now she is upset that he does not believe her. 2 adults going in circles while a 2-month-old baby sits in limbo waiting to find out who his father is. The judge says this is silly and she is thankful this courtroom exists, so the buck stops here. She has the results.
In the case of Richardson versus Robin, when it comes to 2-month-old DeMarlon Richardson, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Richardson, you are father.
He is the father. All of that. The side piece beginning, the internet divorce papers, the unfinished house blessing, the mystery money, the smell accusation, the missed DNA appointment, and she was telling the truth the entire time. DeMarlon has a father. Now that man needs to step up and be what this child deserves. The games are over. Moving on.
Yes,
And
Your
want
Honor.
nothing more than to give her closure. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Light, you say Ms. Kiles is a pathological liar, and you claim that as much as you would love for a piece of your son to be here, you don't trust that baby Ava belongs to him. Is that correct?
This case is different. The man at the center of it is not in the courtroom. He is gone. James was shot and killed, and now his mother and the mother of his child are standing in front of a judge trying to answer a question he can never answer himself. The grandmother loves this baby, but she has reasons to doubt, and those reasons started before the baby was even born.
And so why would he make this up with his mother? I mean, what
Doing
motive
right.
would he have to?
Because he was mad because I wasn't letting him around me. When I was pregnant with her, I didn't let him around me. He went back to, I was in Oklahoma. He moved back to Chicago. He was trying to reach out to me, and I kept ignoring him.
She says it never happened. No other man, no phone call. But the grandmother heard a different story from her son, and the problems between the mother and James went deeper than a phone call. She was pregnant, hormonal, and pushing him away. She stopped answering his calls. She told her own grandmother not to pick up, and then the relationship fell apart over a locked door.
Why are we calling her Ava?
Because that's the name that me and James wanted to name her.
Okay.
She took her back to Chicago. A week later, I wanted my baby back. She didn't want to give her to me, so I had to call my mother to get her back. She got her immediately. My mom went to go get her. My mom dropped Ava off to Miss Lighthouse.
She gave the baby away right after birth. James was not at the hospital. It was just her and her toddler. She handed the newborn to a family member who named her Skylar. A week later, she wanted the baby back and had her own mother retrieve the child. When she finally told James, they both cried on the phone. He said he still loved her, but the grandmother believes James never knew something critical.
All I know is something happened, some girls arguing, and another guy came and shot my son. And the girl tells me that all she could do was try to pull him into the car and drive off. And they kept shooting, so I know it was God, but I don't know what stopped the bullet hole from hitting my grandbaby other than God.
He tattooed the name on his face, Ava Joshe. That is the name on his obituary, but the baby's legal name is Skylar Angel, and she does not carry his last name. The grandmother believes James died thinking his daughter was Ava Joshe Miller. He never knew the truth. And then James was killed, and the baby was right there when it happened.
Like, this is your biological grandchild, this is your son's child, and he had her name tattooed on his face.
Oh, his face,
Did he
Ava.
ever tell you that her legal name was Skylar?
No, Your Honor, no. I think
How did
my
you
son
even
died.
find out?
We were supposed to, I kept asking about doctor's appointments because I feel like she needed her shots and things like that.
The grandmother found out from a doctor's appointment form weeks ago. The baby she has been calling Ava, the name her son tattooed on his face, the name on the obituary, is legally someone else, Skylar Angel. No Miller last name. And in the grandmother's mind, if the name was kept secret, maybe the father was too. That suspicion deepened when she went to pick up the baby one day.
And you believe she has a different name because another man is her biological father?
Yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, the situation where she said it never happened, where some man answered the phone. Situation when I had to go find my grandbaby one day, and the guy that answered the door to me,
A man who looked like James was at the door, tattoos over his eyes, similar build. The grandmother looked at that man and then looked at the baby and thought, whose child is this really? That doubt has been sitting in her chest since before James died. And now, standing in this courtroom, both women want the same thing. They want Ava to be James's daughter.
My baby needs us. She needs me, she needs her grandmother, she needs us, and this is not how James would want it to be.
it's not.
I don't want to have animosity,
But
I don't
I know-
want to argue.
But you do understand, Miss Kyle, that Miss Light's position is she wasn't around you all in the relationship.
Both women are standing there asking for the same outcome. The mother does not want to fight. The grandmother does not want to lose another person. She already buried a daughter at 15. She already buried her son. She cannot lose this grandbaby too. They need the science to either hold this family together or tear it apart for good. Here come the results.
In the case of Kyles versus Light, when it comes to 14-month-old Skylar Ava, it has been determined by this court. The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Light and Skylar Ava is 99%. You are related.
99%. Ava is James's daughter. The grandmother can finally exhale. The mother is vindicated. And somewhere, a man with his daughter's name tattooed on his face is at peace. A family that lost a son, lost a daughter, and almost lost a grandbaby to a bullet has one piece of itself back. Now they can get that name changed to what it was always supposed to be. Next up,
Smith, you claim that your teenage crush on the much older defendant led you to becoming pregnant more than 2 decades ago. You say Mr. Brooks has denied fathering your son, Jimmy, ever since. And today, you want to prove he is Jimmy's father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
24 years. She has been saying this man is her son's father for 2.5 decades, and he has denied it every single time. She was a teenager with a crush on an older man from the neighborhood. He was the adult who should have known better, and what happened between them one night at a cheap motel set this entire story in motion.
And I'm happy. I'm happy that was my only time.
And you believe that one night is what resulted in the conception of your son?
Yes, Your Honor.
You couldn't even take her to the movies, Mr. Brooks?
Well, she didn't want to go to the movies.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
She wanted to go straight to the hotel.
Oh, really?
Really?
Okay.
That's how she wanted
That's
to
a
do
lie.
it.
One night, no protection. She was a virgin. He knew it. And a few months later, the school nurse told her she was pregnant. She told her mother it was an older man but kept his name to herself. She says she tried to tell him, but every time she saw him in the neighborhood, he disappeared. He says he never knew about the pregnancy at all.
He knew I was pregnant. Everybody in the neighborhood knew. So the word was getting
But
back.
did you tell him he was the father?
No, I didn't tell him the father just yet because he wasn't around like saying. He would be in the neighborhood, go to the store, and I would see him off and on. So when I finally got a chance to see him, that was when I was about to have.
She says he asked about the baby's name. He says none of that ever happened. She says he gave her money for Pampers. He says it is all in her mind. 2 completely different versions of the same decade. And then the trail went cold in the worst possible way, because when Jimmy was 12, the courts told her this man was dead.
What, so, Mr. Brooks, if they told Miss Smith you were deceased when Jimmy was 12, when she was trying to enlist, how is it you remember meeting up with her when Jimmy was 12? I don't understand that.
I was in the old neighborhood.
He never met me when Jimmy was 12. You're lying. He's lying. He did not see me when Jimmy was 12.
You were in the old neighborhood and what happened?
The system said he was dead. She did not believe it. She kept going back to New Orleans, asking around, searching. A mutual friend told her he was alive and in Texas. She found him on Facebook. And for a while, the conversations were not even about Jimmy. They were about what could have been between the two of them. Old feelings resurfaced, but the paternity question was still hanging over everything.
Are you going to be truthful about it, Mr. Brooks?
I already told you, I don't think I'm just dad. Just
You are
pops.
his father, and stop it. You are his father.
You were sleeping with
You was
other
the
people.
only man I ever
You were
slept with,
sleeping with
and
other
I was a
people.
virgin. Thank you.
I don't think so.
You were probably
And you
high.
know.
That's why you didn't know.
She was a virgin. He was the only one. And if he does not remember, she says that is because he was high. But the most powerful testimony in this courtroom comes from Jimmy. He says the streets raised him. No father figure, no role model. His mother finally arranged for them to meet this man face to face. And what happened next is unbelievable.
He acknowledged that he was your father. Did he
said
say you're my...
He said he could be, he won't. I mean, it's not like he said he wasn't, it's not like he said he was. He said, you know, he wanted to knock it out too, but it's the way his attitude was about the situation. So when I walked to the car and I looked back, he was gone. I went down a couple blocks, looked for him, and then I wound up seeing him, so I hop out the car.
He ran. A grown man got out of the car and ran down the street from his own potential son. Jimmy chased him. The judge cannot believe it. The audience cannot believe it. And here is the part that makes it worse. After the running incident, the man called Jimmy and asked if he could move into his house. He would not take a test, but he wanted a roof. Here come the results.
To prove that if he's my son, I can go to a relationship with him.
So, and that's what you're trying to do today. Up
Today.
until today, you have not. And at the...
She told me when he was 12 years old, the next time I seen him, he was 20 years
Stop
old.
lying.
So I can't
Stop
build up a
lying.
relationship.
Hold on.
until that
One.
happens.
I also want to understand fully your doubt.
I just think that we just had a one-night stand.
He is the father. 24 years of denial, and she was telling the truth the entire time. His first reaction is to dismiss everything else she said as lies, even with the proof in his hands, even with his son standing right in front of him. He cannot bring himself to own it fully, but the judge has one more thing to say to this man.
In the case of Smith versus Brooks. When it comes to 24-year-old Jimmy Smith, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Brooks, you are the father.
After 24 years, the man finally says the words, "You are my son." Whether he means it or whether the cameras pushed him to say it, only time will tell. But Jimmy already knows who he is. His mother made sure of that. He raised himself, built a life, and became the father his own father never was. One more case, and this one ends differently.
Mr. Hernandez, you claim that during the marriage you often spent weeks at a time on a fishing boat for work, only to find out upon returning home that your wife had other men in and out of your house while you were at sea. You and your girlfriend are here to prove Liana is not yours. Is that correct?
3 years old and calling for her daddy every single day. Her mother does not know what to say. The man she married, the man she believes is the father, has not been in the girl's life for years. He is a commercial fisherman, gone for weeks at a time, and when he would come home, the story started. She kicked him out after a fight. 2 days later, she told him she was pregnant.
I kicked him out after we had a big argument, and then 2 days later, I told him that I was pregnant with my daughter.
Mr. Hernandez, what is your account?
When we first got together, before she got pregnant, before I found out she was pregnant, I was gone for 2 weeks.
A family member told him his wife's ex was in their bed while he was out fishing. She denies it. But this was not the only time paternity came into question. He says she admitted it herself on the phone during their separation. She says that never happened. Every time they argued, the doubt got deeper. He was even happy when the pregnancy was announced, but then something happened at the hospital.
Oh, really?
He was happy.
Were you happy when you found out, Mr. Hernandez?
I was happy at first, but then after the pregnancy at the hospital, that's when everything
After
changed.
the birth at the hospital?
Yes, Your Honor.
What happened at the birth?
2 family members came to the hospital and told me that's not my kid.
2 of her own family members told him at the hospital that the baby was not his. She had no idea it happened until this moment in the courtroom. The judge asks the obvious question. If you did not know they said it, how can you deny it happened? And then the birth certificate came up, and what it reveals makes the doubt even worse.
I didn't have it at the time. I had my maiden name. We were not married.
Okay, so it was before you were married, and you want her to have your last
I
name.
literally argued with her at the hospital.
No, you didn't.
Then why did I was gonna sign the paperwork to do it for you on the birth certificate, and you said no?
She left his name off the birth certificate on purpose, just in case he denied the child. The judge says that is a first. If you are so certain this man is the father, why plan for the possibility that he walks away? She did not want his last name at the time. He says he fought to sign the paperwork and she told him no. And then there is the question of appearance.
So I have blue eyes, blonde hair, and I'm white? No, Your Honor. I am Hispanic, black hair,
All that's
brown
from
eyes.
me, my side.
Where's the blonde hair?
My mother had light hair. My aunt had light hair.
Okay. And
Miss Hernandez,
family has blue eyes.
Miss Hernandez.
He is Hispanic, black hair, brown eyes. The child has blue eyes and blonde hair. She says the light features come from her mother and her aunt. He is not buying it, and neither is his girlfriend, who has been watching this entire case from the gallery and is about to confirm what he has been saying all along. When the judge calls for testimony, she does not hold back.
If they would have went up to him and told him this, then they would have came back to me and told me that they said it, but no one came.
Okay, so your point is if my family had a doubt,
Yeah.
so much so that they're gonna walk up to him and say, this is not your child.
The girlfriend says she saw the messages. The wife told him he was not the father and to sign over his rights. The wife denies everything, but the pattern is undeniable. Every time they argue, paternity becomes a weapon. She uses it to hurt him, then turns around and demands he be present. The judge has heard enough. She lays down the law about what that birth certificate means.
So your feeling, Mr. Hernandez, is that she was really just with you for you to provide for her.
Yes, Your Honor.
And she wasn't willing to help support, earn financially in the relationship.
Yes, Your Honor.
So
She
you
wants
also
me-
believe that's why she's saying you're the biological father, because she knows you're a provider.
He is tired of the stories. She wants financial support and a father for her daughter. The judge already made it clear that birth certificate is binding. Those arrears are real. No matter what the DNA says, he has a legal obligation. But biology still matters. Not for child support, but for Liana. She deserves to know who her father is. Here come the results.
In the case of Hernandez versus Hernandez, when it comes to 3-year-old Liana Lamont, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Hernandez, you are the father.
Told you.
He is the father, and the second he hears it, the weight of 3 years hits him all at once. A daughter who has been calling his name every single day. The judge turns to the mother and tells her to stop. Let him feel it. Let him process what he missed. If she wants him in that little girl's life, she has to make room for him to be there. Well, that brings us to the end. A man who doubted from the jump despite signing the birth certificate, he is the father. A grandmother who lost her son to violence but gained the confirmation that Ava is her blood, 99% related. A man who ran from his own son for 24 years, he is the father. And a fisherman whose wife's own family tried to tell him at the hospital, he is the father too. 4 secrets. 4 DNA tests, 4 truths that could not stay buried. If you made it this far, drop a like, leave a comment telling me which case hit you the hardest, and subscribe if you have not already. I will see you in the next one.
She was having an affair with Mr. Green.
I had no one to turn to but Mr. Green. Mr. Green was the person that was
What
there
Mr.
for me.
Green did for you. I've
Mr.
been here
Taylor
taking care of
didn't
these
send
kids.
any money.
Randy
while he
got
was
my
away.
last name.
I'm sorry that he's where right now. Call me. Chill, Diddy. Let's go.
Ms. Cleo Tucker steps into that courtroom carrying more than just a 1-year-old son. She's carrying a claim that could shake a grieving family to its core. The man she says is Keandre's father, Eric Andrews, died last year, and his mother, Ms. Mosley, sitting on the opposite side of that aisle, says she has never once heard that woman's name.
Ms. Tucker.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're here today for your son, 1-year-old Keandre Tucker. Now, you say you're unsure whether a man you've been in a sexual relationship with or the defendant's deceased son.
Judge Lake doesn't waste time laying it all out. This isn't just a paternity case, it's a $3,800 Social Security claim attached to a dead man's name. Ms. Mosley's face says everything her mouth hasn't said yet. She buried her son. Now a stranger is standing in a courtroom saying he fathered her grandchild.
Now, Ms. Tucker, you're also suing Ms. Mosley for $3,800 in Social Security benefits.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Ms. Mosley, you tragically lost your son, Eric, a little over a year ago.
Yes,
I'm
Your
so
Honor.
sorry.
Cleo doesn't sugarcoat it. She was with 2 men at the same time, her boyfriend and Eric, and she owns that completely. But she came with receipts. Literal receipts. A color-coded calendar breaking down her romantic encounters by date. Say what you want about the situation. The woman came organized.
Well, from the time that me and Mr. Andrews was together, it wasn't on no relationship type. It was just that we was just messing around. When I met him, I did have a boyfriend, so you know what I'm saying, I was sleeping with 2 people at the same time, but it was more frequent.
February 6th is where it all starts. Her best friend's birthday, the night she met Eric. From that night through Valentine's week, she says they were together nearly every day. By March 16th, a test confirmed she was 5, almost 6 weeks pregnant. Judge Lake's expression doesn't move, but her eyes are doing all the math.
On March the 16th, I went and found out I was pregnant, 5 weeks, going on 6 weeks.
So in blue is when you discovered you're pregnant.
Yes, Your Honor.
So the 6th is when you started being intimate with Mr. Andrews.
Yes.
No protection, neither man. Cleo admits it plainly, and the courtroom shifts uncomfortably. Across the aisle, Ms. Mosley doesn't explode. She just exhales, long and slow, like a woman who has already cried every tear she had and is now simply trying to protect what's left of her son's name.
Your Honor, I'm here today for answers. I tragically lost my son, my best friend. I wear him on my heart every day, everywhere I go. And I just come to court today for answers.
When Ms. Mosley finally speaks, she's measured but shaken. Eric had 4 children, 4, and he came to her with every single one of them, proud, excited, present. Who is Cleo Tucker? She asks, and it doesn't come out as an insult. It comes out as genuine confusion. Judge Lake presses gently, if he told you about all the others, why keep this one quiet? Nobody has an answer for that.
With this petition, it could be tough, and yet at the same time, if in fact little Keandre is your son's biological child, that would be a grandson for you as a part of your son's legacy.
Then Cleo admits something that reframes everything. Eric did reach out during the pregnancy, called her mother's phone, asked about ultrasound photos. She ignored him. She was angry, hurt, and shut the door. It's complicated in the way real life always is. And for a brief moment, both women in that room feel less like opponents and more like casualties of the same situation.
He never mentioned her.
And so it's your feeling that my son has been honest with me about so many things, including other children he's fathered. How could you not know anything about Miss Tucker?
Ms. Mosley explains how she even found out Cleo existed. Eric's friend called and told her, so she picked up the phone and called her son in jail, straight up. His response? He called Cleo wild, said she was a stripper. The courtroom reacts immediately. Judge Lake doesn't blink. That has nothing to do with whether she's carrying his child. The room goes quiet.
Because he told me I was pregnant before I even went and took a pregnancy test.
Mr. Andrews.
Mr. Andrews.
So, Ms. Mosley, did he tell you anything?
Your Honor, my son told me nothing. I found out of Miss Cleo Tucker's pregnancy.
Cleo doesn't flinch at that label. She shoots back. Whatever Eric said about her, he was still the one showing up at her door every night. Words and actions were telling two different stories. Judge Lake lets her talk. She's heard variations of this before, but she gives every woman in that chair the same respect. Let her say her piece.
Send me some ultrasound pictures, but I ignored him because I'm upset. And it wasn't nothing, reason why I feel like he probably didn't go back and tell his mom about it because it wasn't no real relation. It was just like I stepped out on my boyfriend to be with Mr. Andrews. I made a mistake. That was true.
Ms. Mosley circles back to her son, the hospital runs, the baby photos, the way his whole face changed when a new child came into the world. You can see how much she loved him, but she keeps returning to the same wound. Why didn't he ever tell me about this baby? It's less accusation, more grief, the kind of question that has no clean answer.
I got on him. I was like, Eric, what's going on? Are you about to have another child? And he said, Mom, she is wild. She's a stripper. She performs private parties.
Cleo turns it around. She says Eric lied to her too, told her he had 1 child, then 2. At his funeral, she found out the real number was 4, and one of those babies, 6 months older than Keandre. They were pregnant at the same time. Judge Lake absorbs all of this with the stillness of someone who has long since stopped being surprised by the choices people make.
You admitted there was one other guy, but now Mr. Andrews has told his mother that you are kind of living a lifestyle a little out there.
I mean, he can explain of how I'm living my lifestyle, but at the same time, you have to look at this. This man is with me day in, day out. Like, it was like nonstop to the point where he'll never go home. He may call, but...
The pregnancy was a solo journey. No one beside her at appointments, no one in the delivery room, Eric's name nowhere on the birth certificate. Ms. Mosley listens to this quietly. That's why I'm here, she says. I just want to know. And underneath all the tension and all the accusations, that's the truest thing either woman has said all day.
So, Ms. Mosley, did your son talk to you about any of his other children?
Yes. Let me tell you, his first child, he was so excited. He came home, he said, Mom, I'm about to have my first child. He was at the hospital during the delivery, he cried. Then the second child came. And
the truce doesn't last. When Cleo mentions it took Eric 3 weeks to visit the baby, Ms. Mosley snaps, says this whole thing is about money, not motherhood. Cleo comes right back. She's been doing this alone since day 1, and what she needs isn't a check, it's the truth. Judge Lake raises her hand before it escalates further. Not today.
But again, who is Miss Cleo Tucker? Why is it that I never heard of Cleo Tucker?
Why do you think this is, Miss Tucker?
Well, honestly, we both been lied to because the kids that she just pointed out to you, he didn't even tell me about them kids. I found out about them at the funeral.
Then Ms. Mosley does something no one expected. She pulls out her phone and holds up photos of Eric next to photos of baby Keandre. Her voice cracks when she says it. I'm not certain, but I do see something there. That one admission, quiet and unsteady, cuts right through the room. Judge Lake asks whether Cleo ever compared Keandre's photos with the other possible father. She hasn't. I just know, Cleo says.
You didn't let him come to doctor's appointments? He wasn't there for the birth?
He would call just like Mr. Andrews would. I'm like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Let me come with you. Let me come to the doctor's appointments with you. Let me see your ultrasounds. I want to be a part of this too, but...
Little Keandre's birth certificate as father?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so you have the baby, and what happens then?
After I had my baby, that's when I got in contact with Miss Mosley. We on the phone. She like, oh, nice to meet you.
Cleo walks through the numbers. Diapers, food, daycare, clothing, $400 a month, 19 months, $3,800 in total. She's asking for half. Judge Lake acknowledges it all, then makes it plain. Not 1 cent changes hands until the science says so. That's the rule, and it applies to everyone.
sending him no money, writing him, but at the same time, he has to understand I'm here pregnant with a child. I have to prepare this future for me and my baby. I don't have time to be sitting here trying to take care of you when you in jail when nobody's helping me with my baby. That's why he denied my child, because I didn't help him.
So, Ms. Mosley, why do you think Ms. Tucker is bringing you to court?
For the money. She wants a check. Well, I was still mourning, and I'm looking on Instagram.
Judge Lake pauses before the results, and what she says lands differently than anything else in the hour. If this isn't her grandson and she opens her heart to him anyway, that's another layer of grief for Ms. Mosley to carry. It's no longer a legal proceeding at this point. It's two women, both hurting, both waiting on one piece of paper to tell them who they are to each other.
And she's not the first one to come forth claiming that her child is my son's. There was another girl that claimed that her son was his. We had the DNA and found out he was not his. And Eric felt strongly that he wasn't, and this is the same message he gave me.
So you feel like the same thing is happening over again?
Yes.
When you see that screen, do you see a resemblance?
Jerome brings the envelope forward. Everything that's been said, the accusations, the timelines, the tears, the anger, all of it compresses into this single moment. The courtroom holds its breath.
Of your baby and the other possible father as well?
No, Your Honor, I did not.
And why did you make that choice?
Well, honestly, when Kendra started getting older, I started seeing more of Eric in him. And just like the calendar I handed to you, it made more sense to me. And I was like, this. And I just want to comment on what she said, like coming after her for money. It's just not even all about that. Like, I've been taking care of my child, even when her son was here.
Cleo cries before she can get a full sentence out. I was right, she manages, barely above a whisper. Across the aisle, Ms. Mosley exhales, something between relief and devastation and gratitude all at once. I still have a piece of him, she says. Judge Lake smiles quietly. That's what a legacy looks like.
A month just
Jerome,
because
can I have that, please?
On Pampers, diapers, and everything, and I do this by myself, and I feel like, okay, you his mama, so can I get some type of help? He's not here no more.
So you have a breakdown of monthly expenses, baby formula, clothes, childcare, totaling $400 per month.
In chambers, Ms. Mosley holds Keandre for the first time. She looks at his face, really looks, and the tears come without warning. He looks just like my son, she says. Judge Lake watches from across the room, not saying a word. Some moments don't need commentary. Grief walked in that morning. Something closer to healing walked out.
Any receipts? Have you participated at all with this child in terms of care?
Without proof, why would I? When a young lady comes up to me and claiming to be pregnant by my son and he's gone, the only way to prove that is through DNA.
Some lies start small. A shift in story here, a detail left out there, and before long, the whole thing collapses under its own weight. Ms. Jackson first told Mr. Taylor he wasn't the father, then she changed it. Now Mr. Green is sitting in the same courtroom watching that contradiction play out in real time. Trust is gone. The air is thick with it. Only the DNA knows who walks out of here vindicated.
You say your fiancée, Ms. Jackson, dropped a bombshell on you when she was 9 months pregnant and told you that you may not be her child's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
She later changed her mind and said you are Raymond's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
And while you're hoping he's yours, you're here today to prove that Raymond is not your biological child.
No.
Florida was supposed to be a fresh start, a new city, new energy, new chapter for the family. Instead, it became the place where Ms. Jackson met Mr. Green and where the relationship quietly began to unravel. She says Mr. Taylor abandoned them to chase his dreams. He says he left for a job. Both are pointing fingers. Only one of them is telling the truth.
Fathering the kid, clothing the kid, I do everything for this child. And the only thing that I do know is that if this child ain't mine, I'll be walking out this courtroom today a single man.
You have a family together. So there is a lot at stake here. Do you understand, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
In your opinion, do you believe he has a right to doubt this?
Mr. Taylor says he went to Atlanta to pull his family out of a shelter. Ms. Jackson says she had no idea where he was for 2 days straight. Calls, texts, nothing. When Mr. Taylor lays out his reason for leaving, the courtroom applauds. Ms. Jackson sits completely unmoved. She has already made up her mind about what kind of man he is.
In a shelter, and we ended up becoming intimate, but
Mr. Taylor left me and my children stranded in Florida while he went away to, I guess, chase his dreams, knowing that we had nobody and knowing that we had nothing.
Ms. Jackson says while he was gone, he sent nothing. No money, no contact, no sign he was coming back. Mr. Green stepped in, offered support, showed up. When the judge asks how long she waited before turning to him, she starts to say, a few weeks, and Mr. Taylor cuts the room in half. 3 days, 3 days. The courtroom shakes.
I tried to get in contact with her. When she was there, she was at a youth shelter. She was at a youth shelter, and at the youth shelter,
he didn't try to get in contact with me.
At the youth
shelter, I tried to get in contact with him. I didn't even know that he was in Atlanta for 2 days. I was blowing his phone up.
Mr. Taylor says everything he did was to protect his children. Miss Jackson says he never planned on returning for any of them. She tried for 2 straight days to reach him, she says. He calls that a flat-out lie. Neither is budging. Their versions of the same story have nothing in common.
This supposed job opportunity that he had, during this job opportunity, he never sent me or the kids any money. We barely had any contact with him. There was no one for me to turn to but Mr. Green. He was the person there for me, giving me emotional support. You know, that was what I needed at that time.
So how long after Mr. Taylor left for Atlanta?
Ms. Jackson calls Mr. Green a rebound. 2 broken people who found each other at the wrong time. But she also makes sure the blame lands squarely on Mr. Taylor. He created the opening. He pushed her into it. Mr. Taylor isn't buying it. Trying to provide for a family, he says, is not an excuse for what she did. The moral argument is now just as loaded as the paternity question.
Be a man about the situation.
He didn't have no money.
Leave a message.
Kids was on the verge of getting taken away.
I'm going to go.
He's saying,
but
Miss Jackson,
when I left,
you never sent no money.
Let's get some order. Do you believe he just left and never called? Is that what you believe?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm certain that he did. I received every other message.
Then Mr. Taylor does the math, out loud, in front of everyone. He left September 14th. Conception happened October 12th. That's a 1-week window from the time he walked out the door. The room goes quiet as the numbers settle. Gasps, then murmuring. Miss Jackson's credibility just took a direct hit.
A sexual relationship?
It was a rebound thing, Your Honor. It was a rebound. He was going through a situation with the mother of his child, and I was going through a similar situation with Mr. Taylor. And we connected on that level because we were both going through the heartache of losing someone that we cared about and still wanting to be in that relationship.
Mr. Green takes the stand and tells his version clean. Miss Jackson told him Mr. Taylor left to chase a rap career. They connected, things got physical, and when he got his own place, he let her and the kids move in. He saw her texting Mr. Taylor regularly. He says it didn't bother him. Whether that's confidence or indifference, the courtroom can't quite tell.
For us to be done.
So you saying if your husband leave out of state for a job opportunity, y'all single? I left September 14th. She was pregnant on October 12th. Now you tell me, you know how long it takes to conceive a child, right? You know how long it takes afterwards to find out that you're pregnant. It takes a minimum of 3 weeks.
Everything is on the table now. The timeline, the lies, the accusations, the competing versions of loyalty and abandonment. The courtroom is on edge, and the only thing that can cut through all of it is sitting in a sealed envelope. One test, one answer, one person who gets to leave here knowing they were right all along.
When I met her, she told me that he had left her for a rap career in Atlanta, just left and didn't want nothing to do with her, had nothing to do with her, didn't want to take care of the kids. So I'm sitting there and I feel bad. Right? So I was sitting there, I feel bad. She got 2 kids. So I sat there and I felt bad. We vibed, and then I was going through stuff with my baby mom at that time. Then it got to a physical level.
The results are ready. The shouting is done. The finger pointing is done. Judge Lauren holds the envelope and the room holds its breath. Who is this child's father? And who is about to have their entire version of events confirmed or destroyed?
When it comes to 3-year-old Raymond, as to whether his biological father is Mr. Taylor or Mr. Green, it has been determined by this court. His biological father is.
Some cases walk into paternity court and some cases arrive. And Ms. Reed, she arrived with a full agenda. She's suing Ms. Austin, her husband's alleged side piece, for $5,000. Her argument? The affair didn't just damage her marriage, it hit her wallet too. And as if that wasn't enough, she wants a DNA test run on Ms. Austin's baby because she's convinced her husband played a role in that pregnancy. The moment you hear the words alienation of affection and possible baby daddy in the same sentence, buckle up.
Ms. Reed, you are demanding that Ms. Austin have a paternity test administered on her child whom she claims was fathered by your estranged husband.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're hoping the DNA test will prove that your husband is not her baby's father.
Ms. Reed doesn't ease into this. She goes straight for the jugular. Right after delivering her baby, still in recovery mode at the hospital, she picks up her husband's phone. And on the other end, a woman, calm as anything, introducing herself as his girlfriend. Not a friend, not a co-worker, his girlfriend. The woman just pushed a human being into the world, and this is what she woke up to. Judge Lake's expression alone told you everything. This was going to be a long, long day.
Okay, Your Honor, I found out about Mrs. Austin. One day I came in from the hospital from having my second child, and Rael's phone rang, and I just so happened to answer the phone. And Mrs. Austin, she said, I'm Rael's girlfriend. I said, Rael's girlfriend. Did you know that Rael was engaged to me?
Here's where it gets complicated. Ms. Reed knew. She found out, processed it, and still chose to stay. Not once, but twice. She forgave him, rebuilt with him, and eventually married him, believing people could change. Then she finds the same woman back in the picture. Same number, same pattern, same man. At some point, forgiveness stops being a virtue and starts being a lesson you keep refusing to learn. And Judge Lake's face? It was doing all the commentary nobody needed to say out loud.
And got back in a relationship with him.
You took him back again?
Yes.
You then married him?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Ms. Austin, how did you get involved with a married man? We hear it may have started before the marriage and continued.
When I met Rael, they was not married.
Ms. Austin steps up and doesn't flinch. Her defense is that she was kept in the dark. She claims she had no idea he was engaged until she stumbled on his marriage announcement on Facebook. No conversation, no warning, just a timeline update that flipped her whole situation. But instead of walking that back with any remorse, she pivots immediately, suggesting that if Ms. Reed had been handling things at home, he wouldn't have been in her phone in the first place. In paternity court, out loud, in front of Judge Lake.
You didn't have any regret or remorse about it because you felt like if she was handling her business, he wouldn't be over talking to you.
Right. Your Honor, that means that she didn't mind playing the role as his little mistress, because any woman wouldn't sit there and be in a relationship with a man that has a woman.
Ms. Reed doesn't hesitate. She fires back, and the two go head-to-head with the kind of energy that makes court reporters nervous. Ms. Austin throws out that the husband allegedly told her he only stayed with Ms. Reed for financial reasons. And then comes the detail that stops the whole room. The money Ms. Austin had been sending him as a way to help him escape the marriage, he spent it taking his wife on dates. He recycled the Mistress fund into date night. The audacity of that man is genuinely breathtaking.
Your Honor, like, he was staying telling her that he needed money to get away from me, but the money that she was sending Rael, he was taking me out with her money, or he'll, like, if my kids, my child or whatever needed Pampers or milk, he'll take that money and go buy them the things that they needed.
So now, Ms. Austin, you claim that Mr. Wallace is the father of your child.
Just when you think the story has peaked, it doesn't. Ms. Reed reveals that Ms. Austin's ex-boyfriend might actually be the father of Ms. Austin's child. And then, before anyone can process that, she adds that she personally got involved with that same ex-boyfriend. Out of revenge, she went after the mistress's man specifically to settle the score. The audience reaction was visceral. Judge Lake looked like she was searching the ceiling for answers. Nobody in that room was prepared for that particular development.
The other person who they say that is my daughter Muriel's father is her man, that my ex, who that she is dating now.
Your Honor, I can explain that situation. Your Honor,
oh, please do.
I did that out of revenge. At the time, Rael was cheating on me with her.
Jerome opens the door, and in walks Mr. Wallace, the man responsible for assembling this entire situation. He carries himself like someone who hasn't fully registered the gravity of what he's walked into. Judge Lake cuts right through it. Married to Ms. Reed? Yes. Involved with Ms. Austin? Yes. Possibly fathered a child with her? Allegedly. Sir, you are standing in paternity court. The word allegedly has never saved a single person in this building, and it is not about to start with you.
How you doing?
Mr. Wallace, let me ask you. You married to Ms. Reed.
Yes.
But you were sleeping with Ms. Austin.
Yes.
You had a baby with Ms. Reed.
3, Your Honor.
3.
Correct.
And then Mr. Wallace does something remarkable. He explains himself. He says the cheating happened because he was bored, because his wife didn't cook, didn't clean. The courtroom went quiet in that specific way. Rooms go quiet right before everything gets louder. Ms. Reed comes right back. If home was so unbearable, why did he keep returning to it? He doesn't have a clean answer for that, because there isn't one. The math he's presenting does not math.
She rarely cooks, she doesn't clean.
Correction.
I cheated because I was bored in my marriage. I was too young to get married in the first place.
So why did you get married?
Because I felt like it was the right thing to do, because I was being pressured and I had 3 kids with her. So
Correction, Your Honor. If you was pressured to be in a relationship with me, why did you constantly come home to me? Why did you constantly, every time I got work, was there, and you could have left and went home to your mother, your sister, or whoever the case may be?
It gets worse. Mr. Wallace confirms that the money Miss Austin sent him, money intended to help him leave his wife, went toward taking his wife to dinner and buying diapers for their children. He was running a full domestic operation on his side piece's funding. Even the audience couldn't hold it together. Judge Lake had to remind the room that actual children are caught in the middle of all of this. Real kids with real needs. And this man turned their family into a financial shell game.
Is your child?
no ma'am.
Why is that?
Because she has.
Don't you say no, boy, and she look just like you. She look just like you.
the other
She got
guy.
everything. Everything on you, she got on that everything.
She looked like the other guy, who is currently her boyfriend.
I had sex with Raniel first, and I used unprotected sex with Raniel.
The energy shifts when Ms. Reed breaks. She's not performing anymore, she's genuinely hurt. She talks about her children and how since Ms. Austin's baby arrived, her kids have been seeing less and less of their father. Her voice gives out mid-sentence. This isn't about the lawsuit anymore, or the money, or even the other woman. It's about her kids wondering where their dad went. Even the room quieted down. Even Ms. Austin looked momentarily human, before the walls went back up.
Fill me in on that. Your Honor, I'd rather for it to be his because I feel like ever since Raniel had other kids on my kids get the short end of the stick. They rarely see their dad. Like when I take them to see him, I have to like leave them with him in order for them to spend time with their father. So I feel like before her child even got in the picture.
Then the door opens again. A new woman walks in, Angela Roberts, composed, direct, and carrying the information that she also has a baby by Mr. Wallace. Judge Lake leans back slowly in her chair the way you do when you realize the situation is bigger than you originally calculated. The courtroom cannot believe it. We now have a wife, a mistress with a newborn, and a third woman with a baby, all circling the same man. This has left the building of ordinary and entered something else entirely.
Thank you. State your name for the court, please, ma'am.
Angela Roberts.
Thank you so much. Now, what brings you to court today? What would you like to add?
I also have a 5-month-old child by Mr. Wallace that he claims he's not the father of.
You also have a 5-month-old child that you say was fathered by Mr. Wallace, but he's denying that child as well.
Yes.
Angela isn't here to perform. She has a 5-month-old and she wants accountability. She says Mr. Wallace has been running the same playbook on everyone in that room, denying, deflecting, disappearing. Judge Lake looks at the man and shakes her head. Ms. Reed has run completely out of patience. She came in representing herself and she's somehow ended up representing an entire category of experience.
But what we found out today through testimony and confirmation is that Mr. Wallace actually went after Ms. Austin. Now, in order for you to sue for alienation of affection, you have to prove that this woman, young woman, planned to destroy your marriage.
The results for the first DNA test land. Judge Lake reads the envelope. Slowly, the room holds. When it comes to baby deal, Mr. Wallace, you are the father. Ms. Austin is immediately on her feet, pointing directly at Ms. Reed. Told you, dummy. The room erupts. Ms. Reed does not absorb this quietly. She fires straight back. Mr. Wallace, meanwhile, stands completely still, not a flicker. The man is made of marble, apparently.
As per these results prepared by DNA Diagnostics, in the case of Reed versus Austin, when it comes to baby Demuriel, Mr. Wallace are her father.
Told you, dummy. She looks just like you, dummy. Everything, dummy.
Judge Lake puts a stop to the chaos and gets serious. She looks at every person in that room and reminds them what's actually at stake. 4 children confirmed, possibly a 5th. These are real human beings who didn't ask to be born into a situation this unstable. She directs most of that weight toward Mr. Wallace, who receives it with a slow nod like she's telling him about a parking ticket. A second DNA test gets ordered for Angela's baby, because apparently this case has a part 2.
You all have 3 children together. Now we know you, Mr. Wallace, have another one. And maybe one sitting right here with this young lady. The fact that when you got this result, both of you 2 ladies start going at it and Mr. Wallace just standing there looking like...
They come back. Of course they come back. Angela returns and picks up exactly where she left off. She's not letting this go. She walks through how it all started. Mr. Wallace approached her on the street, charmed her, and at no point mentioned a wife. That tracks. Judge Lake looks at him. Jerome looks at him. The entire room looks at him. He sits there like a man who has accepted that looking unbothered is his only remaining strategy.
You are here requesting a paternity test to prove to the defendant, Mr. Wallace, that he is the father of your 5-month-old son, Danielle. You have asked the court to administer a lie detector test to prove he's still trying to be with you.
Judge Lake asks him directly, why didn't he tell Angela he was married? Mr. Wallace says it slipped his mind. He forgot. A whole wife. Forgot. Judge Lake doesn't even blink before reminding him that he also has 2 women with 5-month-old babies that he may have fathered simultaneously. Did that slip his mind too? He shrugs. At this point, his memory is selectively working for one purpose only, and it's not accountability.
Forgot.
How could you forget about a marriage? All because he ain't wear the ring, so he ain't care that.
You forgot you were married or forgot to tell her?
It just slipped my mind.
Let me remind you that you have 2 women that may each have a 5-month-old child by you. Matter of fact,
Mr. Wallace's defense for denying Angela's baby is that the child doesn't look like him. Judge Lake reminds him, patiently but firmly, that he said the exact same thing about the last child. The one the DNA test just confirmed was his. He is officially out of material. Angela doesn't let it slide either, pointing out that she has 5 children and she's showing up for all of them while he can barely account for his 4. The courtroom responds accordingly.
you said that about the last one, I remember.
Dummy, goofy, great.
The child looked like the rest of her kids. And I believe the same guy who is the father of her 4 other kids is the father of that baby. She's 22, she has 5 kids.
I sure do.
Wow.
And you got 4, and what you do for him? Oops.
Your Honor, can I speak?
Yes, Miss Reed, what I want to know from you right now is how did you figure out?
Near the end, Ms. Reed and Ms. Austin are at it again. Voices up, hands moving, the whole production. Mr. Wallace watches from his seat like a man observing traffic. Judge Lake finally reaches the limit of what measured professionalism can absorb and says what everyone in that building has been thinking. 3 young women, diminishing themselves over this man. The crowd responds because the truth has a sound, and that was it.
This is a sad state of affairs to see 3 beautiful young women act a fool over you. I need to read the results of Mr. Wallace's lie detector test.
They know what I am, they know what I do.
Wow, this guy's really acting like a jerk.
Came here for my kids. I never had a father.
If you could go back in time, you would cheat on your wife
yes,
more.
I would do it again.
Because you feel like
she is a whore.
You better pipe yourself down. Let's go. Get out of the courtroom, Mr. Wallace.
Wait a minute. What did you tell me?
said too she wasn't your daughter when me and you had our argument.
What did you say? If you get a DNA,
if you
get a
felt
DNA
like she
test
wasn't
and
your
it come back
daughter,
negative,
you should have been
apparently
said
you would never
that.
see her again. So I said, don't worry
No, I
about
never
it.
told
Don't.
you
Yeah,
that.
you did.
No,
You was
I
a liar.
She telling one man he's a father, then she's telling him he's a father.
But I know who the
And she
dad
just
is.
sent me, Your Honor. She just sent me a week ago on Facebook that James is not the father. Called me out
Because
my
you
name.
keep doing this. Stop
see
doing
that, Jerome.
this. Stop trying to be all up in my business.
You put me
Tyler
in
don't belong to you.
on that.
Picture this. A 17-year-old girl standing in a courtroom, cradling her newborn, while 2 mothers fight a war that was never hers to start. That's the world Destiny walked into today. Her mother, Ms. Sism, is certain Anthony Taylor is baby Osiris's father. Anthony's mother, Ms. Riley, isn't buying a single word. Judge Lake surveys the room and delivers her opening verdict before the case even begins. children raising children. The air is already heavy. Settle in.
What stands before me is a case of babies having babies, teenager. This is upsetting. With that said, Miss Sism, you and your teenage daughter, Destiny, are to prove that Anthony Taylor is the father of your daughter's 8-month-old son, Osiris. Is that correct?
Ms. Chisholm doesn't even make it through her first sentence before the tears come. She lost her father early, and watching her teenage daughter carry a baby alone hits differently for her. This isn't about winnings, it's about her grandson. Destiny stands firm beside her. Anthony is the father, full stop. But Ms. Riley hasn't said a word yet, and she doesn't need to. Her body language says everything. Something's about to break loose.
Certainly, Your Honor, that Anthony is the father of Osiris.
And you are emotional already.
Yep. I have a grandson that's 8 months old. He needs his father. I lost my dad when I was 2, so I know what it's like not to have a father. But I'm not here because of me. I'm not here because of...
The moms stop taking turns and start talking at the same time. Through the noise, Judge Lake extracts the real story. Destiny had been sneaking over to Ms. Riley's house for months, using her daughter as cover while Anthony was the actual destination. Ms. Riley calls it manipulation. Ms. Sism calls it teenage love. What it actually was? 2 kids running a full double life, completely invisible to the adults who thought they were paying attention.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
My son was going to, how you going to tell me what's a lie?
Because, Your Honor, they was having sex in her house.
You didn't even care where your daughter was
what type
at.
of parent is she? If she gonna tell them, she told them.
She told
Hold
them
on,
to use
hold on.
protection.
Hold on, let's get some order.
Ms. Riley makes her first move. Before anyone started talking pregnancy, she saw Destiny around school with a completely different guy. Her logic is simple. You showed up in my son's life 2 weeks before this baby became a conversation. So explain the math. Judge Lake's expression does the talking. Nobody's arithmetic is adding up cleanly right now, and she knows it.
Ma'am.
Now, Destiny, before I go further, was my summation of the plot correct?
Yeah, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I see her walking with another guy. My son at school, this is before Destiny said anything about you was pregnant. Next thing you know, I find out that she old.
Ms. Sism doesn't flinch. Her position is airtight in her own mind. Destiny had never been with anyone before Anthony, so the question of another father doesn't exist. Meanwhile, Destiny reveals that Ms. Riley refused to even acknowledge Osiris for 8 months. The room splits into 2 camps. That's not my grandchild on one side, you've done nothing for him on the other. The envelope hasn't even appeared yet, and this courtroom is already on fire.
So, therefore, yes, it's Anthony's baby, and that's what we're here for, to get this DNA.
It's not my grandbaby.
Okay, don't claim him. You ain't claim him 8 months. Don't claim him now. Y'all ain't did nothing for him. I've been taking care of this baby. They don't do nothing for him.
That's a lie.
They don't do nothing for him. Sure don't.
Judge Lake draws a line. She looks at both mothers and lays it flat. While they were home believing they had control, these teenagers were choreographing an entirely different reality. Then the detail that stops the room cold. Destiny wasn't just visiting, she was sleeping in Anthony's bed, under the same roof as Ms. Riley. And Ms. Riley's response when she suspected something? Apparently she told them to use protection. Judge Lake looks like she needs a moment.
Sometimes that's what kids do. And I'm gonna keep it real. With all the phone and cell phone having we got, all of this communication, Miss Sism, it ain't never a day in this world your daughter should be able to tell you spend a night over a friend's house. What friend? Who's the mother? Where's the number? I'm calling.
Destiny walks through the moment everything changed. A missed period, that specific kind of nausea that doesn't feel like anything else. The hospital confirming what she already suspected, but the detail that lands hardest is what happened when she walked through her own front door. Ms. Sism took one look at her daughter and already knew. No announcement needed. A mother's instinct, or a mother's fear, had already arrived before the words did.
I think she was.
Over her friend's house. Her daughter is another friend. I even asked Destiny, did she know you was having sex in her house? You know what Destiny told me, Your Honor? She said yeah, because she told them, I hope y'all using condoms. She said, Destiny said she gave Anthony condom.
Yes.
What type of parent is that? What? That ain't no parent.
Then the confession that shifts the entire temperature of the room. Anthony told Destiny to keep the baby, not because of excitement or love alone, but because he was afraid he wouldn't survive long enough to matter. He wanted something of himself to exist in the world after he was gone. A 17-year-old carrying the weight of mortality like it's just background noise. Judge Lake's face doesn't hide what she feels.
But we don't know if it's Anthony baby or not. At first, Anthony, he didn't want Osiris. He said, we should wait. And then he was washing dishes. He was like, we should just wait to have a baby because I'm not stable. You got a job, but I don't, and I don't want you to be the only one taking care of him. So we go upstairs.
Destiny fills in the rest of Anthony's thinking. He felt the streets closing in and wanted to leave a legacy behind. While that's sinking in, Ms. Sism reveals she ended up hospitalized for 2 weeks after learning her daughter was pregnant. Ms. Riley responds that better parenting would have prevented all of it. The gloves are officially off. Whatever composure was left in this courtroom just walked out the door.
I broke down. I have a nervous breakdown. I had to be in the hospital for 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
Because I may be having a baby.
Because you wasn't being a parent.
During the pregnancy,
use a
is
doctor.
Anthony with you?
Yes.
He came to appointments with you?
Yes.
And when the baby was born, was he at the hospital?
We were all there. Anthony was there.
The hospital becomes the next battleground. Anthony was present through labor and cut the umbilical cord. He showed up where it counted. But when Ms. Riley arrived to meet her grandchild, security removed her from the building. Ms. Riley calls it a calculated move. Ms. Sism says she was protecting her daughter from more chaos. Neither woman is entirely wrong, and neither is entirely right, and Judge Lake has visibly had enough of both of them.
So you've been saying all this time Anthony is the father of the child. You've been consistent. Anthony's participated in the birth.
Yes, he has.
The day of the birth,
Because they put me on.
No, hold on.
Yes, he has.
I'm getting to that part.
Okay.
So, Ms. Riley, you and your daughter come up. You say, since they're saying it's Anthony's baby.
Yeah.
Judge Lake reclaims the room. She condenses months of conflict into one sharp sentence. Both of these women have been so locked into fighting each other that the baby at the center of it has almost become a prop. She redirects. Facts only. But Ms. Sism and Ms. Riley aren't quite ready to let it go, and the emotional residue of everything unsaid keeps surfacing between every sentence.
Tried to call this woman and talk to this woman like a woman when she was pregnant. So don't sit up here and tell that lie.
Calm down. Ladies.
Wait a minute.
Ladies, hold on. Let's just calm down. I'm trying to get your point, and now I get it from your perspective.
Anthony walks in. The energy shifts. He's not loud, not defensive, just quietly bracing himself. Judge Lake asks directly, does he believe he is Osiris's father? He doesn't hesitate. Yes. And when she presses him on why he's so certain, his answer isn't what anyone expected. He was Destiny's first. He made a promise. He meant it. For a moment, the courtroom doesn't quite know what to do with that kind of honesty from someone so young.
Do you believe you are Osiris's biological father?
Yes, I do.
You do believe that?
Yes.
And tell me why.
Because I picked Destiny and I took her virginity, and I felt like I was getting into a lot of trouble and things that was happening, and I felt like...
Anthony keeps talking, and the room stays quiet enough to actually hear him. He's buried people he was close to. He's watched danger become ordinary. Asking Destiny to keep the baby wasn't impulsive, it was deliberate. He wanted a piece of himself to outlast him. Judge Lake acknowledges the weight of it without letting it become an excuse. She names what it really is, trauma wearing the mask of a plan.
I wanted just like another seed in this world, so I decided to have a baby.
And I believe you're telling the truth. And even if your rationale weren't necessarily truly indicative of what your future is, I respect and I honor the fact.
Ms. Riley wipes her eyes and explains herself. The DNA test was never about doubt for the sake of drama. She wanted her son to have certainty, real certainty, something no one could take from him or use against him later. Judge Lake asks if Anthony's testimony changes how she feels. It doesn't. She still wants the results. And honestly, that's not the villain move the other side wants it to be. Feelings and facts are different things.
Destiny, we're gonna go to the results, but before I do, when your mom talks about you wanting to be a pediatrician and a lawyer, and you having these huge dreams for your life, why would you engage in activity that would produce a child that would give you such huge responsibility in this world?
Judge Lake turns to Destiny, and the tone shifts into something quieter and more serious. She names what Destiny gave up: the college plans, the pediatric medicine dream, the version of herself that existed before Osiris. You don't sacrifice your entire future to fulfill someone else's wish. Destiny's composure cracks. The audience feels it. That sentence wasn't just for her.
You first have a responsibility to yourself to make yourself happy. Just because somebody asks you to do something for them, you have to consider whether that's in your best interest. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
We're here now. Osiris is here now.
Judge Lake brings it back to the only person who had no choice in any of this, Osiris. He deserves a life built on stability, not the wreckage of adult conflict. She confirms one final time. Was there anyone else during the conception window? Destiny says no. The room goes still in a way it hasn't been since the case began. Judge Lake reaches for the envelope. Everyone in that courtroom stops breathing at the same time.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Taylor, you are his father.
Anthony's hands find the podium. Destiny's eyes don't blink. Both mothers go rigid. Judge Lake opens the envelope and slows down. Every word measured, every pause deliberate. The room absorbs each second like it costs something. Whatever is inside that envelope doesn't just answer a question. It redraws the entire map of what comes next for every person standing in that room.
And Miss Riley, have a seat. This is just ignorant. Come over here, Anthony. Sit down. You all are this is shameful. And in this moment, just when I thought these kids had pulled off a plot against both of you all to defy their mother's order,
the verdict lands and the room detonates, gasps cutting through the silence, tears from directions nobody predicted, relief and devastation arriving at the same time in different bodies. Judge Lake raises her voice above the noise and pulls everyone back to earth. She doesn't let the moment pass without naming it: the immaturity, the generational wounds, the pain that traveled through every person in this room and landed in the arms of a baby who didn't ask for any of it. The truth is out. But the real work? That part just started.
The possibilities for his life, and you all arguing back and forth with one another instead of encouraging and empowering these young people. I'm furious. Your daughter's putting her dreams, opening her legs, trying to get a dream up between her legs instead of having a dream in her mind. And you want to argue with this woman across this courtroom.
26 years, one daughter, and enough buried secrets to fill a courtroom twice over. Ms. Jackson is here to collect $20,624 in unpaid child support, and she's pointing her finger directly at Dwight Brown. Dwight's wife has a very different version of events, and somewhere in the middle of all of it stands Tanika, a grown woman who still doesn't know her own origin story.
Ms. Jackson, you've dragged your ex-boyfriend to court to prove he fathered your 26-year-old daughter, Tanika.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim he's denied her since birth because you were caught in a love triangle with him and his wife.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
1 week ago, you reopened your child support case in which you state Mr. Brown owes you $20,624.08.
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge Lake wastes no time breaking down what's on the table: back child support, a paternity dispute that goes back to birth, and 2 households that have never agreed on a single fact. Dwight's defense? He was traveling during the conception window. His wife backs that claim hard. Tanika sits beside her mother wearing the expression of someone who has been exhausted by this story for decades.
Yes, Your Honor, I was. Well, by Mr. and Mrs. Brown, they told me different stories that he might not be my father, but my mother always told me that.
And so why, after all these years, why do you reopen the child support?
Because my husband don't want her.
Judge Lake wants to know why now. Why drag this back into court after 26 years of silence? Ms. Jackson doesn't flinch. Her daughter has been denied and dismissed her entire life, and she's done letting that slide. Before she can finish her sentence, Ms. Brown cuts across the courtroom. That's a lie, Your Honor. And just like that, whatever civility existed in the room evaporates instantly.
With his wife, Miss Brown. I asked him who she was. He told me if she was just a friend. So he came back to the club.
That night?
That night. We danced, we partied, and then we went to the apartment.
Is that an apartment?
Not mine. No, that's a lie.
Ms. Jackson walks the court through the beginning. A club, a dance, a man who said he'd be back and actually came back, except he came back with his wife on his arm and introduced her as a friend. That same night, the group ended up at an apartment. Things escalated. They slept together, unprotected, and then the door opened and Ms. Brown walked in. The room doesn't need much imagination to fill in the rest.
You remember it being Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Did you ask him why was she coming over here then while I'm at your apartment?
That was my apartment, Your Honor.
No, I didn't.
So, Ms. Brown, what happened?
Me and Dwight was having problems. It was much later when I caught her in the house with him.
Ms. Brown has her own accounting of that night. She noticed Dwight had disappeared from the club, went looking, and followed strange sounds to a bathroom door. She forced it open. She saw exactly what she expected to see. She told Ms. Jackson to leave, calmly, she emphasizes, then turned her attention to her husband. But that wasn't the end of it. Months later, she came home, opened her own closet, and found Ms. Jackson standing inside it, naked.
Okay, I told her, I said, you can go. It ain't about you. I got him. So I jumped on him. I let her leave. She walked out. After that, this was some months later, when I got to my apartment, I unlocked the door with the key.
Judge Lake's reaction says everything the audience is thinking. This is no longer a child support case. It's an archaeological dig through someone's worst decisions. Ms. Brown, somehow still composed, says she knew the affair continued but maintains that Tanika is not Dwight's child. She and Dwight were under the same roof the entire time, she insists. The tension in the room has officially taken on a life of its own.
Oh, yeah.
So were you all married at this time?
Me and Mr. Brown have been together for about 3 or 4 years when he started messing with her.
I want to go back to the point where you realized you're pregnant.
We had moved. We moved to Albany, Georgia. Back and forth, he was telling me that he had to come to Jacksonville to take care of business.
Ms. Jackson pushes back with her own timeline. She and Dwight were moving between Albany, Georgia and Jacksonville, Florida. She told him about a miscarriage. She told him about the pregnancy that followed. She says he drove her to the clinic himself. Dwight's response is immediate and practiced. I don't remember that, Your Honor. The kind of selective amnesia that courtrooms see far too often.
To me and him that I was pregnant.
So you went together. Mr. Brown, do you remember going with her to the clinic?
No, Your Honor, I don't.
Do you remember being in a relationship with both of them at the same time, back and forth?
Yes, Your Honor.
You do. Were you sleeping with both of them without protection?
Judge Lake corners Dwight, and he breaks. Yes, he was with both women. Yes, it was unprotected both times. The courtroom exhales loudly. Ms. Jackson shakes her head. Ms. Brown mutters something under her breath. Dwight tries to pivot. He suspected Ms. Jackson was seeing someone else, which is why he doubted paternity. This from a man who was concealing women in his wife's closet. The irony is doing heavy lifting here.
Hey, we staying together.
Okay.
This is what I'm tired of going through. This is not about
And then the time
their
she's supposed to have
relationship, their relationship. I don't care nothing
what she said at the time, she supposed
what
to have
they had going on. This is not
he
about
was in Jacksonville with me.
This is about me. This is about me finding the DNA test, not them.
Tanika takes the floor, and the temperature in the room shifts entirely. Her voice is steady, but the weight behind it is unmistakable. She's grown up hearing two completely different stories depending on which side of this dispute she was standing on. She looks directly at Judge Lake and says she's been carrying this since childhood. The courtroom goes from chaotic to completely still.
Were you with anybody else?
No, I was in Albany, Georgia. I was staying
And
with
during
my
that
mother's
time, Your Honor, when
He'll
she...
come to Georgia on Friday, and he'll leave that Friday evening and go and back to Jacksonville to her. Back and forth, back and forth, back and
When
forth.
he came to stay at my house.
Ms. Brown returns to the timeline. Certain the dates don't line up. Dwight was gone. The math doesn't work. Ms. Jackson isn't buying a single word of it, and she says so without hesitation. Voices rise, overlap, and Judge Lake has to step in before the whole thing collapses into noise. Order is restored, barely.
Was he acting like Tanika was his child?
Yes, Your
Was he
Honor.
excited about the child?
Yes, Your Honor. He named her Tanika Lachey Brown.
Was he at the hospital when she was born?
Yes.
No, he wasn't.
Came,
No, he
came
wasn't.
in the hospital, Your Honor.
He
And
wasn't there when
asked
she was
me-
born.
He asked me where she was. The nurse brought her back in the room.
Ms. Jackson dropped something new into the record. Dwight was present at Tanika's birth. He helped choose her name. He was involved in her early life. Ms. Brown doesn't let that sit for a second. Another man's name was on the original birth certificate, she says, and she says it like it settles everything. Judge Lake pauses, files it. The case just grew a new layer.
Did you sign the birth certificate? When Tanika
Your
was
Honor, I don't
born,
know.
Your Honor,
I didn't
when
sign no
let me tell you
papers.
something else that they didn't tell you, Your Honor. When Tanika was born, another man was on her original birth certificate as her father, not my husband. Miss Jackson was married at the time.
Tanika explains what she uncovered on her own. Two birth certificates exist with two different names on them. She doesn't know which one is legitimate. Ms. Brown calls the one with Dwight's name fraudulent. Tanika's expression says what words can't. She is a woman who doesn't fully know who she is on paper, and that reality has cost her something she can never get back.
This is a copy of my
birth certificate.
That's a birth certificate. That's a fake, Your Honor. That is a fraud. Her mama been lying to her, and she's sitting here and believing her.
So wait, on this birth certificate, it does say Dwight Stanley Brown.
He named
didn't
me
sign
and
that.
he spelled the name.
He was with me.
Ms. Brown lays out a detailed history of failed DNA attempts, 1990, 1992, 2002, all no-shows from Ms. Jackson's side. Despite his doubts, Dwight still contributed over $4,000 in support payments. Judge Lake absorbs all of this with the measured look of someone who has seen too many versions of this same story. She calls it exactly what it is: 26 years of unresolved he said, she said, with a real person stuck in the center of it.
Get money to have a test done for her. She didn't show up. Again, the summer of 90. She don't ever keep calling me. That's an insult about DNA testing. Every time we asked for something. Same thing in 1992. Okay, then we went to Ms. Jackson again. Went up to the lab again to get a DNA test.
Then Tanika says the line that reframes everything. This isn't about money. It isn't about who was right or who lied the most. I just want to know who my daddy is. The gallery goes quiet in a way that courtrooms rarely do. Even Ms. Brown pulls back. For a few seconds, everyone in that room is looking at the same thing: a woman who deserved answers 26 years ago.
Oh, Your Honor.
All right, your feeling is that you asking her for this DNA test over a span of 12 years,
and she's
avoiding it
but now, all of a
purposefully.
sudden, now she want a DNA test now. Okay, I was more than glad to come
And you're saying he's paying child support for the child.
Ms. Jackson produces a paternity acknowledgement signed, she says, by Dwight in 1990. Ms. Brown is out of her seat before the paper finishes crossing the room. That is not his signature, she insists. Judge Lake has it brought forward. Dwight leans in to look at it. Ms. Jackson watches him with the patience of someone who has been waiting a very long time for this moment.
I just want to know if he's my father.
Miss Jackson, why not get it over with so she doesn't have to be 26 years old standing here in tears today?
Your Honor, I have a piece of paper I would like to present.
I would like to see that. Ron, can you hand me the evidence, please? What is this, ma'am?
Judge Lake asks Dwight to sign his name in court right now for comparison. He does it without hesitation. The two signatures go side by side. Judge Lake's eyebrow lifts. The similarity is hard to dismiss. Ms. Brown stares at the paper and shakes her head. Dwight offers the quiet observation that he wouldn't misspell his own name. Nobody in the room has a clean response to that.
Is that your signature, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. That's his signature.
Ron, take this pen, and I want you to have Mr. Brown sign that sheet of paper right above. I want to see your signature.
You can look on his driver's license, Your Honor.
Judge Lake pulls the focus back to where it belongs. This is not a venue for airing 26 years of marital betrayal and club encounters. One person matters in this room, and she's been sitting in it patiently this entire time. The reminder lands hard. Ms. Jackson holds Tanika's hand. Ms. Brown goes quiet. Dwight looks like the weight of what he's been avoiding just became very real.
Two signatures, and they are very, very similar.
No, Your Honor, I didn't sign it.
Yes, you did, Honor. Yes, you did sign that signature.
Do you remember executing a series of paperwork at the child support office?
It never did happen.
The envelope arrives. Ron carries it across the room with the kind of calm that only makes the moment heavier. Dwight finds something interesting on the floor to stare at. Tanika's eyes are glassy. Ms. Brown's jaw is set tight. Judge Lake opens it, reads it, and then looks up. Not at the parties, but at Tanika specifically.
He lied to you. And I will stick by my husband, and I believe what my husband said.
But Ms. Brown, let me ask you this, because you keep saying this woman, this kind of woman, this kind of woman, this kind of woman. It's your husband's kind of woman. He been with her all the time.
Yeah, I understand that too.
Ms. Jackson's grip on Tanika's hand tightens. Dwight finally looks up. Ms. Brown is completely still. Judge Lake scans the page one more time, then raises her eyes to the room. In the case of Jackson versus Brown, she pauses, and every single person in that courtroom stops breathing.
Mr. Brown, you are her father.
Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Mama ain't got to lie.
And you knew that. You knew that. Are you all right, Tanika?
Ms. Olivia Brown didn't walk into paternity court looking for trouble. She walked in carrying 21 years of a life she thought she understood. A father, a family, a name. What she didn't know was that one sentence from her own sister was about to crack the foundation wide open. Judge Lake has seen drama, but this This is the kind of case that lingers.
Ms. Brown, you claim that after 21 years, you were stunned when in a heated argument, your sister blurted out that the man you believed was your dad might not be your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
It started on her birthday, her 21st, the kind of milestone that's supposed to feel like a rival. Her dad called to send money, and for a moment, everything was normal. Then her sister Andrea opened her mouth and detonated a grenade. "That's not your daddy." Just like that, every whispered comment, every sideways glance, every "you don't really look like him" that Olivia had spent years filing away, it all came rushing back at once. This wasn't gossip. This was the ground shifting beneath her feet.
Mr. Brown was my fault, but what really triggered me off was on my 21st birthday when I made 21, my daddy called Andrea, said, "Look, tell Olivia happy birthday, I'm sending her some money." She comes to me, my daddy sending you some money? That's not your daddy.
Judge Lake wants to know how Olivia tried to find her way to the truth. The answer? She went straight to her mother, Angel McIntyre, and Angel, God bless her, confirms it. Yes, she was with Mr. Brown during the conception window. And yes, there was another man. Mr. Brown, for his part, doesn't flinch. He was there from day one, held that baby, loved that child, told anyone who dared question it to mind their business. The hurt in his voice isn't manufactured. That man has been defending Olivia her entire life.
They would always say, "Oh, well, that's not your daddy. You don't look nothing like him. You red and he dog." That would really hurt me. So I went to my mom and I'm like, "Okay, Mom, what's going on? I need to know the truth. Is my daddy my biological father?"
Then Angel speaks again, and somehow she makes it worse. It wasn't two men, it was more than two. The courtroom doesn't gasp so much as collectively stop breathing. She explains the timeline, a 7-year relationship, Mr. Brown entering the picture, the two overlapping. She'd convinced herself Olivia had to be Mr. Brown's. After all, she'd finally gotten pregnant once they were together. But then Olivia grew, her complexion changed, and doubt, like a slow leak, started filling the room that certainty used to occupy.
But I was seeing both of them after that.
I didn't know that.
You did.
So the bottom line is, Ms. McIntyre, there was a time when you were seeing both men at the same time.
After I got pregnant with Olivia, I left my other sponsor alone.
Mr. Brown's story is the kind that earns respect and breaks your heart at the same time. He knew Angel since they were children. He chose her, again and again, through chaos that would have sent most men running. When the rumors started circling, he stood in front of them like a wall. But behind closed doors, he'd asked Angel for a DNA test, and her response stopped him cold. She told him if it comes back negative, he'd never see Olivia again. That's not a warning, that's a weapon, and it worked.
Got together.
So, in your mind, you said to yourself, "I've been with this man 7 years. I have never gotten pregnant." Then I ended up seeing Mr. Brown, starting a relationship with him. Next thing you know, I'm pregnant. This baby has to be Mr. Brown's. This is what you initially thought.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then, the closet. Mr. Brown shows up to Angel's house unannounced, lights down low, music playing, something in the air telling him this visit was a mistake. He moves through the house anyway, opens a closet door, and standing there, undressed, caught, nowhere to run, is the man rumored to be Olivia's biological father. Just look at Judge Lake's face in this moment. Even she needs a second. And somehow, after all of that, Mr. Brown took Angel back. That right there tells you everything about how deeply this man was in it.
Okay. She and I knew each other. Me and her brother were best friends. We grew up together. When she told me she was pregnant, and she said Olivia was mine, I believed that in my heart.
But after she was born, you also say you remember those rumors.
It doesn't stop there. Mr. Brown levels another accusation, this time involving his own brother. Angel denies it, hard and fast, and suddenly 21 years of buried resentment starts erupting in real time, right there in the courtroom. Judge Lake has to physically call order, and in the middle of all of it stands Olivia, this young woman who just wanted a straight answer, now watching her parents tear decades of history apart in front of cameras. The collateral damage of other people's choices is a brutal thing to witness.
Did you sleep with my brother? Answer that for me. Answer that for me. Did you sleep with my brother?
I slept with your brother, said you won't go there. Why you always trying to push your brother on me?
Let's get some order. Let's get some order.
Olivia explains that every time she tried to get answers from her mother, she got redirected, dismissed, given just enough to quiet her down, but never enough to actually settle anything. And then she mentions her name, Olivia. Her mother told her she was named after her dad's step-grandmother. Except, the other possible father's mother is also named Olivia. She's been wearing a potential clue her entire life and never knew it. The exhaustion on her face isn't just emotional, it's the look of someone who's been circling the truth for years without ever being allowed to land.
Who was in the closet?
The guy that she said supposed to be Olivia's father, I went over, me and some of my friends went out drink. I said, look, don't take me by my mom because she be tripping about me coming in late. I was old enough, but I was staying with my mother.
Okay.
So I said, drop me off by Angel.
Olivia breaks. Not loudly, but completely. She's done with the jokes, done with the stares, done with being told by her own blood that the man she calls dad isn't hers. Judge Lake calls Andrea to the stand, and Andrea arrives with all the confidence of someone who has never once doubted herself. She looks Olivia dead in the eye and says it plain, "He is not your daddy. This is my daddy." Bold, loud, and built entirely on looks and family gossip. But the damage lands all the same.
What happened when you asked your mother?
Every time I come to ask my mama anything, oh, she brush it off. Oh, don't come questioning me. Another reason why I doubt it is because of my name.
Andrea isn't done. She says the whole family can see it. Olivia just doesn't match. Their grandmother said so. She claims Mr. Brown himself has voiced doubts. Judge Lake cuts through it. You are not a DNA test, and feelings are not facts. But logic doesn't undo the sting of hearing your own sister say you don't belong. Olivia looks like she's holding herself together with both hands, and barely.
Please step up to the podium.
He's not your daddy. This is my daddy.
Does he look like you? Hold on. Let's get in order. Hold on 1 second. Wait. Jerome, stand between the two podiums, please, so we can respect each other.
Then Andrea shifts the angle entirely. She accuses Olivia of being convenient, only reaching for Mr. Brown when she needs something, using Andrea as the go-between, not claiming his other children or grandchildren as family. She positions herself as the devoted daughter and Olivia as the opportunist. The room splits, and Olivia's face, the hurt, the offense, the barely contained rage, is a whole story on its own. This has long stopped being about DNA.
You can look at a person. If you look at me and my father, we look exactly alike. And then you look at my brother and my sister on my father's side, we all look just alike. She don't look like any of us. She swears that she look like one of my aunts on my dad's side.
Andrea keeps building her case. No visits, no calls, no effort, until there's a need. Judge Lake acknowledges the anger, but she also names what's really happening. This Who's Your Daddy war isn't just tearing two women apart over paternity. It's tearing them apart over who gets to claim love, loyalty, and a place in a family. That's a much heavier fight, and everybody in that courtroom feels the weight of it.
Please share that with me.
My father and I were in an argument, and he said himself, he was like, well, your mom, she's a hoe, or whatever like that.
Oh, let's speak respectfully.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Judge Lake turns to Olivia about the distance. Olivia defends herself. She works, she's not a phone person, she doesn't need a reason to call. Mr. Brown quietly says she looks like him. It's a small moment in the middle of a loud one, but it carries. Nobody is backing down. Every exchange adds another fracture to something that was already fragile, and you start to wonder how much of it can actually be salvaged regardless of what those results say.
And I get that, and when you say you don't got it, oh, well, all right, daddy, I'm gonna talk to you later, and she just hang up in your face, no bye, no I love you, no nothing. I reach out, I come to your house to visit you. What do she do? Oh, I don't wanna go out there, that's a long trip.
Then the air changes. Judge Lake asks Angel if she regrets what's happened between her daughters, and Angel, for the first time, crumbles. She didn't raise them to be enemies. She just wants them to be sisters. Mr. Brown echoes it. Whatever those results say, he wants this family whole. For a brief moment, guards come down and you feel it. The real cost of half-truths and delayed honesty. Not just on Olivia, on all of them.
Is it true that you do not accept your father, Mr. Brown's other children, the other parts of his family?
First of all, Your Honor, I don't know them people. They don't call me. Only person I know is my sister.
Mr. Brown speaks, and the room goes quiet the way rooms do when something real is being said. He tells Judge Lake, he tells Olivia, that it doesn't matter what's in that envelope. 21 years. He showed up. He stayed. He's not leaving now. Olivia hears it. Andrea hears it differently. Angel looks like a woman reckoning with every decision that led to this moment. Judge Lake has heard enough. She calls for Jerome and the envelope.
Do you feel like you regret that your daughter isn't as close with the man that you raised her to think her father was. What was that emotion about?
They sister, and they shouldn't get along like that.
Jerome returns. The envelope changes hands. Olivia is shaking. Mr. Brown is still. Andrea is braced. Angel looks like regret given a human face. Judge Lake opens it slowly because she understands the weight of what's inside. Every eye in that courtroom is locked on her lips. The truth that Olivia has been reaching for her entire life is seconds away. And right at the edge of it, right as everything is about to finally, irreversibly land.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows: as it relates to the paternity of Ms. Olivia Brown. Mr. Brown is not your father.
I knew she was full of drama.
You didn't know anything about me.
But were you her customer?
Whatever that means.
Yes.
Whatever.
You came to the club every week and tipped me, yes.
Why didn't you take the paternity test early on, Mr. Jackson?
She was making false accusations.
I'm not making false accusations. I was on the phone.
Yeah.
Not on the phone. You were on the phone with her. And she was sitting at my house crying about it.
We must have had a conference call then.
Ms. Jones hauls her ex, Mr. Joyner, into paternity court demanding he own up to fathering her 8-month-old daughter, Hazel. And he's not here for it. Judge Lake lays the stakes bare. Mom needs science to force this man into action, while Mr. Joyner, decorated veteran, self-made man, full of himself, is absolutely certain this baby has nothing to do with him. The audacity is already in the air before anyone even sits down.
Ms. Jones, you claim the defendant is an ex-boyfriend who got you pregnant and now refuses to do anything for your 8-month-old daughter, Hazel.
Yes.
You and your mother petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that he is Hazel's father, so he will finally step up.
Ms. Jones breaks it down plainly. Not one diaper, not one can of formula, not a single dollar from this man. She's out here solo, barely holding it together, and Hazel is growing up without a father in the picture. Mr. Joyner, unfazed, casually admits he's contributed nothing and doubles down with, "That baby isn't mine." The calm with which he says it is honestly more infuriating than if he'd yelled it.
And he's been denying her since birth?
Since I was pregnant with her, I've been trying to reach out to him. You know, I got doctor's appointments coming up. Do you want to come? I mean, he just have no interest really since I got pregnant with her at 6 weeks.
You've done nothing for Hazel, Mr. Joyner?
Judge Lake wants the origin story, and buckle up, it's a mess. Ms. Jones calls it a relationship. Mr. Joyner calls it a situationship at best. He openly admits he didn't even catch her name the night he took her home. Not exactly the foundation of a love story. Ms. Jones claps back fast. They worked together, spent real time talking, and when things got physical, neither of them reached for protection. So the "I barely knew her" angle has some serious holes in it.
I mean, hell, the first night I brought her home, Your Honor, I didn't even know her name. I mean, just to be honest.
You say you're in a relationship, Ms. Jones.
Yes.
He says it wasn't a relationship at all. He didn't even know your name.
It was. The first night when I went by his house, his auntie, one of his family members, brought me home from work, and we chilled over here where he lives at. And we talked for a long time, so it's not like he didn't know my name.
Ms. Jones's mom walks in and immediately starts filling in the blanks Mr. Joyner conveniently left out. She was there, watching her daughter drive him around, cook in his kitchen, keep his space clean. This wasn't a fling. This had girlfriend energy written all over it. Judge Lake turns to Mr. Joyner and the look on his face says everything. He did not think mom had receipts like that.
Spent the weekend and everything with them, with my other grandson. So that's how I know he's denying it. He's lying, Your Honor. Yes, he is. Because I used to go pick him up from the restaurant, him and her, where they worked together and everything. Yes.
Mom keeps going. The whole family welcomed this man, liked him, trusted him, talked about Ms. Jones eventually moving in. But now Mr. Joyner is spinning a totally different story, claiming they inserted themselves into his life uninvited and that Ms. Jones was already planning to relocate to Texas with someone else. So now we've got two completely different timelines colliding in one courtroom. Somebody is lying and Judge Lake is watching every twitch.
Him and cleaning up, we was doing all those things. We was all spending time with each other because we thought it was serious.
Like I've been with
Why are you spending time with her mother and her at your house and doing all that if it's just a sexual relationship and you don't care anything about her?
They pushed their way in on me, Your Honor.
No, that's not true.
The pregnancy call is where this thing goes off a cliff. Ms. Jones phones him from the hospital with the news and he hits her with, "Don't tell me you're pregnant," then promises to call back. He never does. She sat there waiting, phone in hand, and got absolute silence. Mr. Joyner's defense? He needed time. He also suspected she hadn't been exclusive. Judge Lake is not writing any of this down without evidence.
This was my boyfriend or baby daddy, whatever it was, in 1 week. So as far as I knew, in my mind, I was just gonna, do with her for a few days, and then she was gonna be gone.
But did I ever leave? Did I ever leave?
Exactly, she never left.
No, I was committed to you and only you, so.
I never asked her, hey, will you be with me? Will you be my girl?
You have, many a time.
As far as
I don't know if that was to get me out my drawers or what, but you have many a time.
Mr. Joyner explains his math. The pregnancy news came only weeks after they first met, so logically, he assumed someone else was the source. He even claims the whole restaurant staff knew she was seeing other people. Ms. Jones doesn't run from it entirely. She admits there was someone else early on, but insists once things got real with Joyner, she shut it all down. He looks at her like that explanation solves absolutely nothing.
Came to me and said she was pregnant. It might have been 3 weeks, maybe a month after I met her.
How do you know she was even having sex with anybody else?
Because it was everybody at the workplace knew. Even she'll
and
admit.
Everybody at the workplace knew that me and you were messing around too.
Too, also.
Judge Lake presses harder. Why him specifically if options existed? Mr. Joyner answers before Miss Jones can even open her mouth. The other guy was young and unstable. He had a house, a career, military discipline. Translation, he thinks she targeted him for security. Ms. Jones pushes back hard, says this was never about resources, it was real feelings. But the damage from that statement is already floating around the courtroom.
That she was sleeping with at the time, and she thought that I would be the best decision.
Or we were together, or we were dating, we were in a serious relationship.
We wasn't.
Like everything was about Mr. Joyner. When we were working together, Mr. Joyner, Miss Jones, everybody knew us.
Then Mr. Joyner drops what he clearly thinks is his strongest argument. 11 years of unprotected sex with multiple women and not a single pregnancy. He presents this like it's a credential. Judge Lake does not let it breathe for even a second. She turns it around on him immediately. 11 years of unprotected sex is the opposite of responsible. Watch him physically deflate in that chair. Courtroom roasted.
Military man. Now, I thank you for your service, I will say that. But if you're responsible, how are you having sex for 11 years and never using protection?
Well, who's to say I'm irresponsible? Okay, yeah, I could have.
I'm telling you are. For 11 years having sex and you're not using protection? Really?
I don't think that means I'm irresponsible.
You don't?
Then his mother walks in, and she is not playing the loyalty game. Ms. Joyner looks at Hazel and says with full conviction that this is her granddaughter. She's already had the baby's name engraved on her grandmother's ring, alongside the other grandkids. That's not doubt, that's devotion. Ms. Jones looks genuinely stunned. She came here prepared for war, not for his own mother to be the most reasonable person in the room.
I'd like to hear from her. Ron, will you please escort her in?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Hello,
Hi.
Ms. Joyner. Thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem.
You know, we're here discussing baby Hazel,
yes, ma'am,
her paternity, and Ms. Jones asserts that your son, Mr. Joyner, is her biological father.
Mr. Joyner finally explains the wall he's built around himself, and it actually lands. In West Virginia, he bonded with a child he was told was his. His mother bonded. They loved that little girl. DNA said he wasn't the father. That kind of betrayal doesn't leave quietly. It rewires how you respond to everything after it. Suddenly, his emotional shutdown around Hazel reads less like indifference and more like self-protection.
In West Virginia, where I moved from, there was another situation just similar to this one right here. Girl said that she had a baby, it was mine, all this. And I mean, this baby looked identical to me, identical. I thought so myself. I got attached to this baby.
But his mother isn't letting that trauma become an excuse. She calls him out directly, tells him to grow up, acknowledges that both he and Ms. Jones played their parts in this disaster, and then casually reveals she's been buying diapers and clothes for Hazel this whole time. So Grandma has been showing up consistently while the responsible veteran has been nowhere. Judge Lake clocks that irony immediately.
I mean, she's ready for
You're
me.
not responsible to have a baby.
My little brother, he has 2 of them, and I don't have any yet.
It has nothing to do with that, because he ain't got his crap together either. Neither one, I mean, they're both young, I get it, but they're not responsible,
Things boil over when Ms. Jones challenges the family about their absence during her entire pregnancy. The room gets loud, emotions crack through the surface, and Judge Lake has to pull everyone back. When things settle, Mr. Joyner says clearly he wants the test, especially after what happened before. His mother fires straight back. A man serious about the truth would have paid for it already. The room felt that one.
because of the situation that's happened before in the past. But who
But you
could blame
wouldn't pay for it. You wouldn't pay for it. A man would have paid for it. $700. Just saying. Sorry.
No, that's what you're here to do.
I mean,
that's what you're here to do.
That's the fact.
I agree. I mean, when you say in open court that you are responsible.
Judge Lake zeroes in on the money question. If stability and responsibility are your whole personality, why is a $700 DNA test still unpaid? Mr. Joyner blames the price tag and says the state should have handled it. Ms. Jones's mom quietly explains what those months actually looked like. Raising Hazel alongside another child, scraping by, doing it alone. The contrast between his excuses and her reality is not subtle.
Go through the state and all this, all this could have been done buku long ago.
When Hazel was born, I was on the internet.
And I was keeping Hazel while she was working at night. She has another child. So she is trying. She is a single mother. She is young. She don't know. He's a little older, should have enough sense to do it.
The other partner conversation resurfaces, and this time it matters. Ms. Jones clarifies that the other man was protected sex. With Mr. Joyner, it was unprotected every single time. Judge Lake starts mapping out conception dates, cross-referencing timelines, doing the math out loud. The numbers are not moving in Mr. Joyner's favor. He's still holding his position, but his certainty is visibly cracking around the edges.
Child was conceived in a window of time when she was only sleeping with you, then you're the only possible father.
I am 100% positive. I am
But
not
you're the only one I was
in
having
that
sex
window.
with.
In that window, when she said I'm pregnant, when you go take it back to when she could have gotten pregnant, in that window, I was not the only one.
My contraception date was February 4th when I went to the doctor.
Judge Lake calls for the envelope. The whole room shifts. No more arguments, no more timelines, no more competing versions of the truth. Just science in a sealed folder. Ms. Jones grips herself together. Mr. Joyner goes still. Both mothers lock in. Whatever is inside that envelope doesn't just settle a dispute, it determines what kind of life Hazel grows up into.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Joyner, you are the father.
Yes.
I see tears in your eyes. You looking at your baby? What do you feel?
Man up to her now.
What do you feel?
She's beautiful.
She is. She's a doll baby.
What do you feel, Mr. Joyner?
She's beautiful.
The results land, and the room transforms instantly. Faces crack open, tears surface, the armor falls away. Judge Lake doesn't let the moment pass quietly. She speaks directly to the weight of the time already lost, the cost of doubt on a child who never asked to be in the middle of any of this. Whatever the number on that paper says, this courtroom is not the same room it was 17 minutes ago.
Protecting yourself. It was almost probably a defense mechanism, like I'm just not buying in until I know.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that's why it's important to get the answer as fast as possible, because now she's just 8 months old. The beauty of this is she's so young, she won't have to remember this. You can step in now and really get in there and be the kind of father that she needs.
Mr. Roll strides into paternity court carrying two missions: prove he is not the biological father of Ms. Galleon's twin girls and expose her as someone who cannot let him go. Judge Lake wastes no time laying the foundation: a fast food job, a flirtation, twin daughters named Rebecca and Gracie, and a mother who says he walked away from all three. Less than 60 seconds in, and this case is already fully loaded.
Mr. Roll, you are here to prove you are not the father of Miss Galleon's twin daughters.
Yes, ma'am.
You say she's infatuated with you, and that's the reason she wants to pin her babies on you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Galleon, you say there is no question Mr. Roll is the father of your twins. You say he left you with 2 babies and a broken heart.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Galleon is not rattled by the obsessed accusation. She breaks down exactly how things unfolded. Work breaks turning into shared drinks, harmless banter with the charming man behind the counter, then Facebook messages that stretched into late nights, and eventually an invitation to his home. This was not a woman chasing someone who did not want her. This was someone who genuinely believed something real was forming.
Pictures of me would sit there, she'll walk past my job, staring at me. Then when me and my ex broke up, I seen this, like, numbers of pictures that I never seen before. I didn't even know it was being taken.
So wait, you said you saw pictures you never knew were being taken?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you obsessed with him, Miss Galleon?
No, Your Honor.
Judge Lake observes that everything described sounds like a standard courtship. Phone calls, texts, consistent interest. She asks the obvious follow-up: was Mr. Roll single at the time? He says no immediately. Not only did he have a girlfriend, he argues Sarah knew because the evidence was right there on his Facebook. She calls that a lie. He counters that she went digging through his profile. The "you viewed my photo, therefore you are a threat" defense has officially entered the building.
And after a while, he invited me over to his house.
So you're saying you weren't obsessed, you were just interested?
Right.
And this was proceeding like a normal courtship would. You talked on the phone, you Facebooked.
Right.
Sent text. So at this point, Mr. Rowe, you're single.
He leans further into the narrative that Sarah was the aggressor, that she found him online and pursued him regardless of his relationship status. She holds her ground, saying she had every reason to believe he was both available and genuinely interested. Judge Lake pushes for clarity and receives ego and deflection in return. The timeline he is selling has holes big enough to park a car in.
This full courtship thing with Miss Godallion. Don't get quiet now.
Your Honor, he was cheating.
I'm a friendly person. I get along with anybody. It's hard not to like me. So I didn't really feel like I was being flirtatious in the beginning because I was in a relationship with a girl. We was happy, but then as time went on, on my part, I just felt like our relationship was going downhill. That's when she hit me up on Facebook and.
Then the story shifts into genuinely uncomfortable territory. Ms. Gallion reveals she only discovered the girlfriend existed after she had already slept with him, unprotected. Inside the home that man shared with that same woman, her photographs still mounted on the walls. Judge Lake's expression says everything. And Mr. Roll? He volunteers that he told Sarah whatever she needed to hear to keep things moving, out loud, on camera, in court.
That he had a girlfriend.
So he tells you, I have a girlfriend.
He told me he had a girlfriend after we already had slept together.
Okay.
I wasn't, when you came to my home, you know I wasn't paying my bills by myself. Someone else was living there. I had pictures on the wall.
You had her at your house?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Sarah had caught genuine feelings, bringing him food, checking in on him, investing in someone she believed was investing back. He claims he tried to create distance when he noticed her emotions deepening. She says he told her the feelings were mutual. He openly admits that was a fabrication. All of this while his girlfriend remained in the picture. Judge Lake makes clear this is precisely how situations like this one are born.
I should have stepped back and just, stopped completely. But then at that time, my feelings were already, starting for him. And we just kept doing it. It was wrong, but we continued to do what we were doing.
I wasn't gonna leave the girl with for her. It was just, I told her what the situation was, and in my mind, she understood what was going on.
Pregnancy enters the timeline. Before she confirmed anything, Sarah asked him hypothetically what he would do if she were pregnant. His answer? It would destroy his life. When she revealed she actually was, denial became his immediate and permanent response. He references already having 2 children, as though that detail changes biology. Judge Lake reminds him that none of this changes the fact that the sex was unprotected, and the look on his face confirms he had not fully thought that logic through.
He was
hold on. He just said he told you what you wanted to hear, so you admitted.
Yep.
You admitted, Mr. Rowe, you did tell her you had feelings for her too.
I told her what she wanted to hear. I was leading her on.
You were leading her on with pride and conviction, just being a lie.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Sarah then explains why she reached out to his girlfriend directly, sending the screenshots, the pictures, all of it. Part of it was hurt. Part of it was the conviction that the woman deserved to know. He frames it as nothing but revenge. The fallout was immediate. Bags packed, laptop open, photographs exposed, and he was removed from the home. All of that fury landed squarely on Sarah, and he severed contact entirely, emotionally and physically.
And I asked him, I said, what would you do if I was pregnant? And he said, it would ruin my life. I said, well, then never mind. He says, you're pregnant, aren't you? And I said, you know what, I am. Don't worry about it. It's not your baby.
The first day, she told me she had to tell me something. I didn't find out. I had to actually 2 or 3 days later.
Judge Lake steers the conversation back to the pregnancy itself. Once he was informed, did he show up at all? He says his doubt ran too deep. Sarah was still legally married, and word had reached him that she was involved with other men during the relevant window. Sarah clarifies she was separated, stuck in a prolonged divorce process, and denies any other involvement during that period. She does acknowledge one moment where, in anger, she told him there was someone else. Judge Lake immediately recognizes that single lie as the match that lit his permanent doubt.
On point with the facts. You find out you're pregnant, you tell him, you know he feels like it's gonna ruin his life. What gets in your mind where you decide, I'm gonna send these Facebook pictures over to this woman?
I found his girlfriend. We talked on the phone, and I told her that, I needed to tell her something very serious. I'm sorry that I did this.
This was like a public service announcement.
The conversation moves to the twins' birth. Was Mr. Roll present? No. After being told repeatedly to leave him alone, Sarah stopped reaching out altogether. Someone else was there instead, present in the delivery room, cutting the umbilical cord, signing the birth certificate, and giving the girls his last name. Roll presents this as confirmation that the children are not his. Judge Lake presents it as confirmation that he was nowhere to be found.
She needed to know that.
So at that point, you were filled with guilt.
Yes, she needed to know what was going on. You know, he needed to step up to the plate and tell her, but he never was gonna tell her.
It comes out that Sarah actually asked Roll whether it was acceptable for another man to step in and sign. His response at the time amounted to indifference. Now, inside a courtroom, he reframes it as a matter between Sarah and her husband. Except the man on that birth certificate is not her husband. It is Mr. Taylor, the man who chose to show up. Judge Lake absorbs the information that this man had unprotected sex with someone else's wife, and has now concluded the consequences are entirely her problem.
My brain came up with.
This is because you're angry because she reached out to your ex.
I feel like she did it out of spite because I distanced myself from her. I just stopped talking to her. When she would come in my job, I wouldn't really say nothing to her. I just walk away from her.
Your Honor, no,
Trust me, I wasn't buying the public service announcement testimony anyway. So I'm sure that it was out of spite somewhat.
Roll then introduces a new argument. He is Bahamian, and in his assessment, the twins are too fair-skinned, and their hair texture does not match his family. He is essentially conducting an informal genetics presentation from the witness stand. Judge Lake dismantles it without hesitation. Children arrive in every complexion, and no member of his family was involved in this conception, so their appearance proves absolutely nothing.
Divorce lasted a very long time.
So, Mr. Roll, your point is she wasn't completely divorced, so she may have still been having sex with her husband.
And I was told she said slept with someone else, so like, in my mind, I'm sitting there like, it can't be mine.
Where did you hear that?
From people I work with, and also people that work, and the partner that she worked at also.
At that point, Judge Lake calls for the man whose name is actually on the birth certificates. Mr. Taylor enters. The room shifts the moment he walks in, calm, grounded, standing beside Sarah like he belongs there, because as far as these twins are concerned, he does. He acknowledges that he was aware of the uncertainty. He chose to be present anyway.
You know, after a while of trying to get somebody to be there, and they keep telling you to leave them alone, eventually you just leave them alone.
In my mind, as another man on the birth certificate, another man was there for the birth, another man cut the umbilical cord, so in my mind...
Taylor explains his position plainly. Where he is from, a man does not sleep with someone casually, and then vanish the moment children become a possibility. You understand what unprotected intimacy can produce. You make a decision and you stand behind it. His focus was never on the conflict between Sarah and Roll. It was on making sure Rebecca and Gracie had someone who would actually be there. Roll attempts to insert himself into the explanation, and Taylor redirects with quiet, unflinching maturity.
Husband, so you shouldn't come at me and ask me, is it
But
okay?
this person who signed the birth certificate, that's not your husband, is it? That's somebody else.
Correct.
He said boyfriend.
That's between you and your husband because you're married.
Oh, so you can go and have unprotected sex with his wife, but then when she gets pregnant, it only has to deal with him.
Judge Lake points to what the courtroom can already see. Taylor speaks about these twins with visible, rooted love. Roll can barely hold eye contact with them. Taylor discusses the significance of giving them his family name, the meaning behind that connection. This is not administrative, this is identity, and there is something genuinely heartbreaking about watching a man fight to keep a bond he built, knowing a test result could complicate all of it.
Dad told me that she slept with another black guy.
Your Honor, that was in the beginning.
So you said that to him?
I said that because I was upset.
So now you infused doubt,
like
even more doubt into the picture.
It's like throwing gas on a fire.
No, you was already lit. Let's be clear. You all over the place, Mr. Roll. Don't try to look innocent now. You all over the place.
Before the results are read, Judge Lake opens the floor. Roll speaks first. If the twins are biologically his, he says, he is prepared to be everything they need. And while he acknowledges what Taylor contributed, he makes plain he intends to take that role over entirely. The confidence in that statement lands like a boulder in still water.
Take out my family, dark, head full of hair, babies, and when these kids were born, it wasn't like that.
Had anybody else in your family slept with Miss Godelli? I mean, I'm not being funny, because if not, her DNA was not involved.
Taylor responds that he is not willing to watch the girls lose his last name, his presence, or the relationship they have already built. Roll counters that his name will be removed from those birth certificates if the DNA confirms what he believes. What started as a paternity case has now become a contest between the man who may have the biology and the man who showed up and did the work. Judge Lake has had enough of the posturing and pulls the focus back to where it belongs, 2 little girls.
These beautiful children when they were born, and you were also at the hospital when Miss Gedalian delivered.
I was. Me and Sarah had built a relationship. I knew she was pregnant, and obviously I knew they weren't mine.
She says it directly. This courtroom is not a stage for ego. It is a place to get answers for Rebecca and Gracie, answers about who their biological father is, and who will genuinely be present in their lives going forward. The room settles into something heavy and still. Sarah looks like she is holding herself together by a thread. Taylor's jaw is tight. Roll has gone quiet in a way that reads less like confidence and more like someone who has just realized what is actually at stake.
So to sit and deny when a woman comes up to you and says, these children may be yours.
But you didn't know what was going on between us, so.
I didn't care. It wasn't, it's not about you, it's not about her, it's about those children.
So, Mr. Taylor, in the meantime, you stepped up as their father.
I did.
These twins. You signed the birth certificate.
Yes, ma'am.
You gave them your last name.
Absolutely.
Judge Lake calls for the results. The envelope arrives and the entire atmosphere of the courtroom contracts. She reminds every person standing before her that what is inside ends the speculation permanently. No more rumors, no more conflicting timelines, no more positioning. This is the answer. Roll stares forward. Taylor holds himself still. Sarah's eyes have gone glassy.
Results. I'm ready. Thank you, Ron. Does anybody have anything they'd like to say before I read these results? Anyone?
If they're mine, I'm the only man that they need in their life. I appreciate what he did, but I can do it all myself.
Anything else you'd like to add? Mr. Taylor, Ms. Gedalian?
I don't want them to lose my last name.
All right, it's coming out that birth certificate, they're mine.
Were you denying them or are they yours?
Ain't nothing you do about it.
Judge Lake opens it. She reads, in the case of Roll versus Galeon, when it comes to 5-month-old twins Rebecca and Gracie, and the room stops breathing, every late night message, every lie, every moment of doubt, every decision made or avoided has collapsed into this one sentence. The expressions on their faces, the dread, the hope, the bracing, say more than any testimony that came before it.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Roll, you are their father.
I just want to apologize for not being there. It's so much had happened in my anger issues, I just pushed them away.
And I can see that really hurts you now.
My father denied me my whole life.
Ms. Hines walks into paternity court carrying a 22-month-old boy and one very specific Christmas Eve alibi. Her ex, Mr. Jackson, is the target. She's certain he's not, and Judge Lauren hasn't even opened her mouth yet, but you can already tell her eyebrows have their own opinion.
Ms. Hines, today you've summoned your ex-boyfriend, Mr. Jackson, to court. You want to prove that he fathered your 22-month-old son, Matthias. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Jackson, you claim Matthias cannot be your son because Ms. Hines had another man living with her around the time of conception. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, Your Honor.
We had sex in the car on Christmas Eve. Ms. Hines says it like she's reading off a grocery list. The courtroom, not so unbothered. Jackson immediately claps back. He was with family that night, and none of what she's describing happened. 2 people, 1 holiday, 2 completely different memories. Judge Lauren is already doing the math, and something isn't adding up.
Man living with her around the time of conception. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Hines, why are you so certain Mr. Jackson is your son's father?
Christmas Eve, we had sex in the car. After that, I told him that I was pregnant. He basically said that he gave me a Christmas gift because he didn't give me anything for Christmas.
Jackson's whole case rests on one thing. Another man was living in her house. That's it. That's the argument. But when Judge Lauren starts pulling threads, Jackson's testimony starts unraveling. Equal parts jealousy, guesswork, and what sounds like a grudge he's been nursing since last December. We're barely 60 seconds in and the plot is already thickening.
Christmas Eve and not Christmas. We agreed to be with our family on Christmas.
Are you disagreeing that it was Christmas Eve, or you're disagreeing that you're the
I'm disagreeing that it was
sex with?
I'm disagreeing on both behalves because she was living with another male, so it's kind of like hard to judge her.
Turns out they have history. Old classmates who found each other again online, chemistry that apparently skipped the conversation stage entirely. No protection, no hesitation. Ms. Hines says he was the only one during that window. Jackson, meanwhile, has appointed himself lead investigator. He went through her belongings and found a box of condoms like he'd cracked a federal case. Sir, put down the magnifying glass.
Mr. Jackson, what information do you have that would suggest that she was
had
having
another
sex with
male
somebody
living
else?
with her, and it was a time that, like, I was snooping around the house, and I had seen a buck because he had said he was taking some stuff to store it.
And then Ms. Hines admits it? Yes, she slept with her ex too. The courtroom temperature drops by 10 degrees. Jackson practically rises out of his seat, but Judge Lauren doesn't flinch. It only takes one time, one moment, one night in a car on Christmas Eve. And from the look on Ms. Hines' face, she knows exactly which night mattered.
And I seen like she was texting this guy, and he was like calling her bouncy.
You're doing a lot of snooping.
Yeah, I got to.
I mean, if you're snooping, why are you even with her then?
I've just seen so many things that seem shady.
So what you're saying is the instances of admitting she's cheating.
Jackson's next exhibit, screenshots, texts, photos, and, God help us, a message from some man calling her bouncy butt. He presents all of this like it's evidence of something. Judge Lauren is unimpressed. Knowing someone's nickname doesn't tell you anything about conception timelines, and she makes sure he understands that. The audience, however, is thoroughly entertained.
Yeah, but my daughter looks exactly like me, like my
To be honest, if you look really closely at his hair is not jet black. And my son's hair was lighter than that, like born. Like, I guess that's baby.
So wait a
hair.
minute, you saying the baby isn't yours because y'all don't have the same hair color? Come on, Mr. Jackson.
It's not that. It's just because
Come on
like,
now.
she was living with another man.
Then Jackson goes full amateur geneticist. His argument, Matthias has light hair, therefore the baby can't be his. Judge Lauren's head tilts so slowly it's almost cinematic. Ms. Hines doesn't even blink. Light hair runs in her family, she says. This is what happens when pride writes a closing argument that science didn't approve.
Is he involved? Does he help support him?
Behind closed doors, he's his son. Around other people, he's not. When we're together, that's his son.
Yeah,
when
but
we're
from
not
the
together, he's not his son.
Here's what Ms. Hines has noticed. When things are good between them, Jackson walks around claiming Matthias like a trophy. The moment there's conflict, the child suddenly becomes a question mark. Judge Lauren catches this immediately. This man isn't in denial about paternity, he's using it as leverage. The courtroom feels it. Every single person in that room feels it.
You just submitted Facebook messages, a pack of them. What are these to demonstrate?
He's calling me a liar and a whore or hoe, whatever, sleeping around. But that's what he's been doing since we got together.
Ms. Hines pulls out Facebook messages. Jackson calling her a liar. Jackson flirting with other women. Jackson, in his own words, doing the most. Whatever story he was building in that courtroom just got demolished by his own digital footprint. He looks like a man who forgot the internet keeps receipts.
So, Ms. Hines, you've been struggling to support Matthias. Mr. Jackson has contributed what?
4 outfits.
And you've been doing this by yourself?
I mean, I have my mom, and then I have my best friend.
Let me hear from your best friend. Ma'am, please stand. State your name.
LaPortia enters, best friend, witness, and apparently the most consistent adult in Matthias's life. She's been helping raise this child from the beginning. Her total compensation from Jackson? 2 $10 bills. $20. She looks Jackson dead in the face and says she's done more for that baby than he has. His silence confirms everything.
Out and getting back to his house 10 minutes late, and he had the nerve to pass him to me and was like, don't make this a habit. After
Did you say that?
The reason why I did that, yes I did.
Did you say that?
Yes, because
Okay.
I have doubts that this is my son because he does not resemble me.
Jackson's explanation for the emotional distance? He didn't feel a connection at birth because the baby didn't look like him. The courtroom collectively exhales disappointment. Ms. Hines reminds everyone that she offered to pay for a paternity test herself early on, and he turned it down. Judge Lauren is visibly done with the excuses. There's no polite way to say what her expression is saying.
The paternity test when she offered to pay for it.
Look.
Good question. Why
Your
didn't you
Honor.
take the paternity test early on, Mr. Jackson?
She's making false accusations.
I'm not
because
making
that
false
was never-
accusations. I was on the phone.
Yeah.
Not on the
wasn't
phone. You were on the
with-
phone
you
with
was-
her.
Oh,
and
you
she
was
was
on the
sitting
phone?
at my house crying about
We
it.
must have had a conference call then.
And then everything shifts. Ms. Hines breaks. Not dramatically, genuinely. Voice cracking, tears coming. She tells Judge Lauren she doesn't want anything for herself. She wants Matthias to know where he comes from. There are no boys in my family, she says quietly. He deserves to know his bloodline. The room goes still. This stopped being a debate a long time ago.
It ain't just me. Like, we have no boys in our family. Like, he got little cousins he could play with. Like, why he can't? Cause
of rumors? Like, come on.
You feel like your son's quality of life.
Even if Jackson walks away from her, she wants his family to know Matthias exists. It's not a threat, it's not a power move. It's a mother trying to give her son something no court date can manufacture, an identity. Jackson shifts in his seat. Something behind his eyes is changing, even if his mouth hasn't caught up yet.
It's not my fault that he don't want to move in because he want to do his dirt. It's not my fault. I can't make him. But then again, I'm talking to everybody.
I'm not going to move in with the woman who has another man living with her. And she's
You
like,
helped me
constantly
move
talking.
out with that man. So what is you saying?
But the peace doesn't hold long. Jackson circles back to the other man, still fixated, still making it about his pride. LaPortia shuts it down without blinking. This conversation is about a child, not about your ego. The exchange gets sharp fast. Accusations layered over old wounds, everyone talking and no one listening. The tension is so thick it has a texture.
I always wanted a family. Like, you know, all women want a family. They don't just have sex with a dude and be like, oh, I'm pregnant, bye. I mean, unless that's what you want, but that's not what I want. I actually want a family. I had a family before.
Judge Lauren asks the question that matters. What happens if you are the father? Jackson straightens up. He'll step up, he says. He wants to be in his son's life. Then, right on cue, he adds that he's been hurt, that he's been lied to, that this has been hard on him too. Judge Lauren's expression doesn't change, but you get the feeling she's heard this particular speech before.
What am I supposed to do? That's why we're here. It's like, forget it then. I'm gonna just prove to you that he's his and then go about your business. It's not even worth it no more fighting.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes, Your Honor.
I think Ms. Hines is being very transparent.
And if you're not the father, Jackson doesn't hesitate. I'll move on. 2 words, 4 syllables. Ms. Hines doesn't say anything. She doesn't have to. Her tears say it for her. This is the moment the whole case crystallizes. On one side, a woman who wants her son to have a father. On the other, a man deciding in real time whether fatherhood is worth the inconvenience. The results are coming.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Hines versus Jackson, pertaining to 22-month-old Matthias Hines.
Judge Lauren reaches for the envelope. Jerome passes it over with that particular courtroom gravity, the kind that makes the whole room forget to breathe. Ms. Hines clasps her hands. Jackson leans in. Nobody moves. Whatever is inside that envelope doesn't just answer a question. It decides the shape of someone's entire life going forward.
Mr. Jackson, you are Matthias's father.
Okay. At least, like, if I can get a hug, you mind if I get a hug? So I can, no accusation?
That's up to her. That's up to her. He said he'd like to give you a hug. Are you okay with that or not? You can say no. All right.